Modcast? Question mark. Uh, so this is something I wanted to do for a while now, and Red will be joining us a bit later. Is kind of give like a little bit of light to those that are behind the scenes on the channel and been with us for a while, and kind of give the community this like spotlight. Figured the mods were a perfect place to start giving more of a light, and both of you being content creators, and then if Kamatya joins a bit later, creators in general of varying degrees, like Tyler with your TikTok community and Luke with the whole YouTube side of things, seemed like a natural jumping in point as well. So feel free to introduce yourselves while I finish this before my cat steals my food.
All right. Hi, I'm Tyler. I use he him pronouns, and I've been on with the Controlled Chaos peeps for about since late 2018 when I was only like fucking 15 years old. And honestly, this is one of the few times I've ever felt like I've been a part of a community. And guys, these people are great. Vex is great. Thurman's great. Red's great. Love it here, and happy to be here.
Hey everyone, so Luke here, and for those of you who know me, you know that I was on one of the videos a while back when Vex, Furman, and Red were talking about Promised Neverland, and I was the avid hater of the Promised Neverland anime. So you got to hear me rant about that. But I've been part of the Control Chaos community for, I'd say, about 6 months after you joined Pancake, was it?
I joined in about October 2018, so
yeah, so it would have been like in sort of like April, May 2019 for me. So I got introduced to them through the Promised Neverland videos because I was a fan of Promised Neverland. Still am a fan of Promised Neverland, but Dr. Stone kind of took over those reins, and like Pancake said, I feel like it's a community that I've felt like actually being part of a community, as opposed to other places where I've gone and not felt welcome, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like it does make sense. And that's kind of what I've always wanted to, from the get-go of helping start create this channel, is like have an inviting community, because I've tried to be a part of communities, like especially like being a mech fan. The mech communities are notoriously gatekeepy. It's not something I wanted to create when we set out on this journey almost 6 years ago now, which is insane to think about. But I always kind of had a vision for creating a team that has a similar but more open mind to myself, because you never want to have this one like narrow focus, because that's how that cesspool of a community begins. Like everybody has to think and conform this way. So I've always wanted to have it like open-minded, but also like super accepting, if that makes any sort of sense. I think so far we've done pretty well. We've had our moments of drama, and not going to shy away from any of that, and parts of that drama I've actually been a part of and helped cause, as Red's talked about, like even with like something as dumb as a shitpost video about like somebody stealing our thumbnail when it popped up on like the Creative Commons tab on Google. Like that was my hill to die on that week. But at the same time, like we all have grown and become our own kind of shells, out of our shells of human into like actual fleshy bodies. Because I know when I started the journey myself, like it wasn't the same person I am now, and that's an important thing, is to like as you grow as a community and as you grow as a person, to be open to your own path of evolution and kind of evolving what you want to do as content. But I'm glad that we're starting this like project with you two, because you've been here arguably out of the active community members the longest. And that's why like having you specifically was like, I want these 2 or 3 people on for this first like spotlight. And the big reason why is, Luke, you and I sat down a few weeks ago and talked about like various ideas, and I wish Thermo was available right now to talk about one that we want to do with you, Tyler, because it was more like, this is awesome when he approached me, and I'm like, yeah, but let's go for it. This is a cool one. But there's 2 major projects that we're going to be working on. I guess I'll touch on Tyler's first because I have the least bit in it, and then the one with Luke before Red gets in here because he's doing all of his move-in shit right now as well. So Tyler, you created 2 rosters over the last couple weeks for like, because they kind of announced like Marvel versus Capcom isn't going to be a thing anymore. And then you brought up like there's so many different like fighting games that Capcom could have done, and you created this roster of like Capcom Fighting Revolution, I believe you called it.
Capcom Fighting Reloaded.
And just to put it in perspective here, like how crazy this is, you went in and created even DLC for this kind of idea. And it got me thinking, like, these kind of videos, like, of just talking about, like, the, like, fighting games in general, because we're, like, not just manga, even though that's where we found our footing, but these kind of, like, fighting game or even, like, shooters or stuff like that could be a really fun transitional video to kind of broaden the spectrum of what we have pulling in. And a roster is always fun to talk about, and it's just like right off the heels of having that massive kaiju tier list. I'm like, this sounds like such a cool idea, and it got me thinking, like, Capcom had a lot more shit under their belt than even I realized, because all you see from them now is like Street Fighter, Resident Evil, and Monster Hunter, and that's all they really focus on. But like, and that, yeah, like Mega Man and fucking Darkstalkers and all these other like franchises that kind of have just stagnated in there. And it's just sad to see like how gaming companies let just their popular 3 or 4 projects be the only thing they even focus on anymore, because they're like, that is the money printer, that is the React channel of our brand.
Still waiting for that Pokemon Conquest sequel, Nintendo.
Right? I love that game so much. If I could find a working ROM of that game, I would be playing that on stream right now.
Oh, if I can get a working ROM of Pokemon Conquest, like I'm pirating that shit faster than I pirated manga before fucking Shonen Jump out.
You know what will eventually happen? Eventually, it will get to a point where the Nintendo Switch will bring like an emulator out for the GameCube, and that'll be on the list.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like I was talking with one of my coworkers last night, just to kind of circle into that, because of the leak with the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance, because they're like, it's so pricey to get into like early Pokemon now. I'm like, well, emulation exists, and then there's also that leak of like the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance, like, let's call them what they are. They're fucking emulators. The Nintendo Switch Online emulator. I'm like, that would be the way to actually drag more people into that, because nobody really cares about, and unless you're a diehard Mario Kart fan or a diehard Animal Crossing fan, there's nothing that really entices you into that higher tier right now. Because we've all played Ocarina of Time 7,000 times. We've all played, Star Fox at least twice or 3 times. There's nothing there to really drag you in, unless you're that diehard fan of those 2 franchises. But an instantaneous nostalgia for anybody is fucking Pokemon. It was the most downloaded game on the 3DS eShop. It was the most downloaded game when they brought out Gen 2. So if they were to just put those on there, it'd just be like, well, I'm giving Nintendo my credit card number again. And they would
Yeah.
actually get people into that higher tier.
Yeah, and just to add to that, another thing that will get them into that high tier is if they released Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2 for the Nintendo 64 emulator on the Switch.
Yeah. God. I just want a GameCube emulator at this point. It's so fucking expensive trying to buy GameCube games. Like, and the other one that I would love to see on that that we're never going to get is the Virtual Boy. I want people to suffer as we suffered.
Wait, you actually bought that shit?
I did when I was a kid.
Damn.
I had
I didn't
one.
even-
It immediately ended up in my yard sale shit because it gave me a migraine.
I honestly did not know the Virtual Boy was a thing until I saw the Angry Video Game Nerd episode.
Same thing.
It was a great concept, like, but the technology was 20 years away. I kind of wish young me kept it because that thing's worth a fucking small fortune now. But when you're 8 and want a PS1, you don't give a shit. You're like, I'll sell this, you know? And then my love for Final Fantasy became a thing all over again, and now I just simp for Sephiroth and his abs.
I mean, who doesn't?
Well, given that I've never played Final Fantasy VII...
No, Luke. I am putting you through Final Fantasy VII on the Twitch. No, we're not going to have a world where Luke has not played Final Fantasy VII.
Okay. Oh my god. Now that I've mentioned that, that's good. Although
That's going to be content.
Although now I have to put you through some of Eden Zero now because of that.
I'll put you both through the King of Fighters.
I fucks with King of Fighters. I'm terrible at it, but I fucks with it.
Oh, same here.
I was playing.
I found myself getting into playing as King, even though I'm much more of a rushdown type of guy. I'm weirdly into King.
I don't know what it is, but that fucking franchise just has such interesting characters, and they actually put lore into their story. Whereas, like, most fighters is like, this one is from America, haha. But King of Fighters like actually had a decent story. If you go into like Garu, Mark of the Wolves, I believe it was called, the 360 arcade game, I guess you would call it, from that era. Jesus Christ, it's even weird thinking about like the era where there were arcade and regular Xbox Live titles. But like that game was so much fun. It was free with Games with Gold a few months ago. I think a few months ago for me was like almost a year ago. I think I was doing it for like my 52 game challenge anyway. I'm like, wait, this is a fighting game with lore and actual story, and there's, you know, a plot to something besides like this guy beat that guy. Nice.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah, it's fucking awesome.
but like just to circle back to this, Luke, you Thurman and I have talked about like 4 or 5 different videos, and we'll get to all of them eventually. But there's one series I want to mention that I want you and a few others to be a part of, and this was what I talked about a few weeks ago before conflict of timing got into it. I was going to appear on my buddy's channel. Thurman and I know him from way back. C-Jack Productions. Just shout out to them. He was hosting like every Marvel ever kind of video and kind of ranking like definitively like where all of them fall leading up to Multiverse of Madness. I'm planning on having him on for one of them. And like a couple of your video ideas you've pitched kind of fit into this realm of it. And it's the Evolution of series. I wanted him to be on because he's got such a masterclass of the shonen demographic. like there are a few people that I consider wiser than the council of idiots that presides over this channel, but and arguably Thurman Red and I are fucking idiots when it comes to all things. But like this man has spanned literally decades worth of content, so I want to have him on for that one. And then I'm talking about like the evolution of like Jump and all of these different things that we've talked about like in chat and all of the various things. It all fits under the same umbrella, and that's the guest series that I was a couple weeks ago. I was having you guys create some playlists behind the scenes to launch different projects, just privated for like full transparency. You can't find these, and it was the Untitled Guest Project, Untitled Gaming Project. That's kind of where these fall. So in the next few months, these will be rolling out like multiple episodes at a time, kind of thing, to kind of start. We're going to start filling our quote unquote bucket. You hear YouTubers use that term a lot, of like pre-recorded content to start flowing them back out and kind of get everything back running the way we want this channel to run, instead of like focusing on like, well, this is fun thing that, god damn it, Oreo, you're draining my wallet while I'm recording. Just bought Castlevania Season 4.
Nice.
I just saw like the Oreo 64 tweet. Oh, like add to cart. But no, like so these projects were going to like spearhead that, and then Thurman and I've talked about like starting like Let's Plays back up, because we used to do those back in the day, but we were like really shitty at it because we were just kind of finding our footing for like what kind of commentary we were feeling comfortable with. I realized over time that I don't really have as much of a filter as the other guys. If you've seen anything on the Twitch, that is full unhinged. I'm not being held back by the sanity of the rest of the team. So like I'm more comfortable making stupid off-color jokes than they are. So like there would be moments of like, yeah, I'm not sitting with that. Like even Red and I had this conversation behind the scenes after the Kingdom Hearts stream. Like I wasn't really feeling that, and I'm like, dude, listen, I've made 50 times more fucked up jokes on that Twitch. It's perfectly fine.
Yes, you certainly have.
So like like that's the thing for you guys. Like, what has been your like hard limit making content? Like, I know Tyler, you being more on the TikTok realm, you have like the stricter guidelines than Luke does. Because it seems like if you show like a little jiggle, they're like community guideline strikes you on fucking TikTok. Whereas like YouTube, as long as you don't cuss in the first minute, you seem to be fine.
Yeah, I think my experience of it was back when Promised Neverland started up, right? Like when it was in the first arc, I was like, this is great. I want to start talking about this series. So I was going through because I was a fan of Tekken 101 at the time. Still am. Still watch some of his videos, but not religiously anymore. So I was kind of like inspired by what he was doing. And then when it got to the end of that arc, because I was showing the panels and everything, I got hit by so many content IDs, and then everything after that with what was going on in my personal life kind of made me lose the will to actually do videos. But ever since starting talking about the final part of Promised Neverland and going the route of like, okay, not showing the panels except on very, very rare occasions, and also I don't tend to swear a lot of times. It seems to have worked because I'm able to do the final arc of Promised Neverland, the final part of Dr. Stone, and now working into Mission Yotsuko family. So after getting back into that groove, I found it really really relaxing, if that for lack of a better word.
Oh god.
Yeah, I sort of feel that. Like, when it comes to me and TikTok, I just film whatever shit comes to mind. Like, I have like a huge backlog of like drafts on my TikTok account.
Oh god.
And like I think like I really want. I'm like super invested in like political TikTok, and like I kind of just want to like slam idiots, but I realize like I am not very cut out to like making like 3 trillion response videos to like the
Yeah.
same talking points.
See, I
And
feel that one especially. Like there is a point where just to weigh in on like the response video thing. There is a point where like the Vic Mignogna stuff was going on, right? And I had stuff come to light from friends that went to cons, just to not rehash this. I'm like, well, now that I've seen from your side of the view, like I'm not going to affiliate it with the channel, this response, but I'll comment under my personal account and be like, okay, given stuff that's come from like friends who are like frequent con goers and everything, like I personally feel differently than this here, but I'm not going to affiliate it with the brand or any of their talking points. If they want to change their thoughts, if anything comes to mind, that's completely them. And then every time that somebody would come back and comment like, thank you for talking about that, I'd be like, copy paste under my account. Like I would just do that, and it got so fucking frustrating that I made an unlisted video just reading that, and I would fucking link that. Like, there you go. There's a minute long unlisted video. Here you go. Just copy and paste that fucking YouTube link. It got so annoying to even do that. I'm just like, I just don't fucking care anymore. You got to learn to pick your battles with those kinds of things, and especially when like in the political realm, I can only imagine like you being more left, you'll trigger like the Trump category of people, or the Boris Johnson category of people, for Luke there. That you would end up with those type of talking points in your comments, like, well, actually, it was down 27% under Trump's administration, kind of thing. So I'm guessing, right?
yeah, like the first, like my first and only video like where I blatantly bashed Trump, saying I'd rather rub my dick on a cactus than go to one of his rallies. I still maintain that. Someone's like, you probably sit at home collecting welfare. Like, yeah, thanks, guy. I'm, being in college, working a part-time job, totally collecting welfare. But like, I've just kind of learned from like my former YouTube channel, like, because I would get harassed by kids in my school online. Like, I've even had people tell me to go kill myself at points. Just don't feed them. Don't feed the trolls.
Very familiar with that the second we stopped praising Promised Neverland. You want to talk about a fan base that turned on its creators? There you go.
Yeah, or you could just talk about the fan base that turned on the creator of Domestic Girlfriend because of the ending, which,
God.
in my opinion, was way worse than Promised Neverland.
God, that series, I've heard so many horrible things about it. But it's still not a point to harass the creator of the series. They told the story they wanted to tell.
Yeah, I agree with that. And it's also like, I'm just like thinking like, well, I've said this before countless times. Like, well, put your money where your mouth is if you think you could do a better job. But of course, we all know that they're not going to do that. Like, you'll say, "Hey, write your own story." They'll be like, "Nah, I can't be bothered."
Then shut the fuck up.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, plain and simple. If you cannot back up your claim that you can write a better story than that author, you have no room to talk. I know I can't write a better ending than was written for Attack on Titan. Do I like the ending of Attack on Titan? No. But I also wasn't one of the people that went out and burned volumes and did all these pointless fucking statements like, one, he already got your money. So what point are you really making? It's like the fucking conservatives burning their Nikes. They already got your money. What you're doing now doesn't mean shit to them.
And actually, with Nikes, it's actually worse because if they're like Nike shoes, then what are you going to wear on your feet?
No. See, they went out and they bought New Balances. It all became the really basic dad at the barbecue with the white New Balances are all grass stained and making a well done burger. No, but like that's part of the fandom that really never got to me. It's like I can never get behind that mindset of like destroying the shit. If you fall out of love with something, just give it away. There's somebody there that can go and enjoy that. You know, there's an underprivileged kid that could wear those shoes. There's an underprivileged, kid that doesn't have the disposable income to go out and kind of, read the manga you no longer have the desire to read because you didn't like the last 3 chapters of a series for some fucking reason. Like, yeah. Bleach went through that same phase. Like, I remember when Bleach ended because the 1,000-Year Blood War was so drawn out that like there was people burning volumes of that when Byakuya came back, like there were people protesting like he should have died, and I agree. Like I wish Byakuya was fucking died. I wish Toshiro would have technically died. That would have made all of that more impactful. But at the end of the day, like you also have to please your editors, your team, and everybody there at Shueisha as well, writing that kind of series. And also the thousands of thirsty fangirls that are like, I want Byakuya back! It got so bad that the man quit Twitter.
That is awful. Like when somebody's like, I'm done with this. It was the same thing that happened with the
Caleb Cook.
Caleb Cook, the translator for My Hero and Dr. Stone, like he got so much backlash that he privated his Twitter account.
Mm-hmm. And that's the point that we've gotten to, like, and it's unfortunate that the anime and manga community has gotten so, and this has had me thinking for a while now, like, and I don't know if it's having done the same thing basically for a half a decade plus, but there comes a point when you're doing the same thing over and over again, and that's why like this reset of the channel has been so refreshing for me. It's like, do I really even want to be associated with this side of the internet anymore, kind of thing? Because I've seen time and time again, being a content creator, because you have to at least stay somewhat knowledgeable on what's going on, and sadly that involves having 15 different forms of social media and having so much screen time that your phone every day is like, you have used your screen 8 hours more than yesterday. Is everything okay? Do we need to get you a therapist? But it's gotten so bad time and time again since we've been in this space. Like, this person has quit social media because of the community, and this person has quit social media because they weren't black enough to voice this role, and I'm still trying to figure that one out for Mirko's voice actors. How, first of all, does the race, gender, or anything of a voice actor matter in the slightest? And not to mention the fact that you have them, like, so fucking fearful for their lives that they're hiring security and shit for fucking conventions, and it's just mind-boggling to me.
And don't forget, like, the motherfuckers who like, took to fucking Twitter and were like, these night-skinned voice actors, which, I'm sorry that I even said that, but, like, that's literally what they fucking said. Like, I'm, like, talking about, like, Aryan anime fans shouldn't have to stand for this. Like, you could just not watch it. Simple as that.
Exactly. It's like now I'm seeing I just rolled my eyes at this for this upcoming anime. called "My Stepsister is My Ex-Girlfriend," which is basically what it says
in the Sweet Home fucking Alabama?
That is exactly what it says. That is exactly what, because I've read a couple of chapters that says it does exactly what it says on the tin. Like, it's about an ex-couple whose parents get married, so they're now stepbrother and stepsister, and people are just like going crazy. Well, they weren't going crazy, but they were just being
Okay,
like,
well, that's a little bit better than the initial premise that popped in my head. I swear, a prop hop has ruined me.
Yeah, but and I was just thinking like, this happened in a soap opera that I saw at one point. Nobody bat an eye at that, and this premise even was brought up in The Simpsons when it was suggested that Homer and Marge's Homer's dad was going to get married to Marge's mum at one point.
Yeah, it's a common trope, a strange one, but a common trope. It's been utilized, since, like, modern ages, but it's still one that mind boggles me that it's a popular one, but my mind immediately went like, oh no, step bro, I'm stuck in the fucking dryer.
No, I can vouch that it's not like what you were thinking, Vex.
It's bad that that's immediately where my mind went, though. Like, the internet has fucking ruined me.
I'm pretty sure the internet's done that to fucking all of us, Vex.
Like, given my Twitter timeline for the last 3 days, like, my mind's been in a weird place to begin with. but
yeah, circling back to what you were saying about the voice actors, people need to understand that actors in general, not just in voice actors, but like actors in live action, they don't want to be typecast. And this whole thing about that people saying like, only this certain type of person can voice this certain type of character. You're basically telling them like, you've got to typecast yourself as this role. You can't do any other role ever in your life. They're dictating what an actor is supposed to do when acting is taking on another role and becoming that role, becoming something that you're different from you. And this is speaking from an actor's point of view.
Yeah. So, and this is something that I actually, I know, Tyler, you're a bit more involved, at least to some aspect in this side of the internet, but I've been following Morgana Ignis, the voice actress for Sally Mae from Hell of a Boss, and I find it, like, really refreshing to see this, because for those unaware, she's a trans voice actress who had a whole ass fucking career under her dead name. And I was just, like, following, like, because a couple of people had tweeted, like, a few of her old projects at her. Like, you could kind of contact the studio or the person that uploaded this, and they could edit, like, maybe the description of that. And to which she basically replied, like, no, I had this whole side of my life under my dead name. I'd spend the rest of my life having people edit it. I accept that that's part of my past, and I welcome, like, you guys to find, like, everything that I've been in. Which is such a refreshing take. But also, like, as that person, if you follow their career, they kind of typecasted her a bit in that. And now that she's doing, like, voice acting and more stuff like along that line, like, that gives you a whole other voice, as ironic as that term is. Like, it gives you a whole other voice inside of the sphere. That you can be this tomboy hick girl over here. You can be this monster over here. You can do so many different things. So, like, in voice acting, there's not really as much of that initial, like, typecast, unless you sound like a 12-year-old prepubescent boy. in which case you were always a 12-year-old prepubescent boy. Which is weird to think about, but like that is a role that is in every fucking show though. Like you can be nasally kid in the background 35 for Funimation and then go over to fucking Crunchyroll and well, I guess we're the same company now, which feels dirty, and like another 3 filler episodes where your character gets ate by a monster. And then you go over here to, like, fucking A1 and dub something for Aniplex. And that gives you, like, instant money printing on the voice acting role. But it does kind of create this, like, that's all you'll ever be. Kind of like sitcoms back in the 90s. Like, every 20-something had to be, like, the 13-year-old or the 14, 15-year-old high school kid in insert bullshit sitcom 95. And that was their breakout role. And then it became the Power Rangers. Like, that was the breakout role for a lot of people. And then you go from there to shitty CW drama. Where you play the same 5 characters for, like, 20 years. It's mind-blowing, like, how this industry has kind of evolved. But cycling it back just one bit here, that's kind of how it feels like if you don't sit down and kind of refocus like everything that you're doing. And this is me kind of brainstorming like what my path is for like the next 5 years, like as a creator, you know, because I've been having this thought for a while now of like what. I know I don't want to do manga content forever. As strange as that is. Because it feels like the longer I do manga content, the less I enjoy it. If that makes any sort of sense.
Oh no, it does make perfect sense.
Yeah.
So I've kind of been bouncing around the idea of like, because I have a lot of fun doing the Twitch thing. And then I have a lot of fun doing like the random one-offs here. I also feel kind of dirty leaving Red with a whole brand new channel they just created. So I've kind of resigned myself to like, well, I'll probably do some manga content, but I'm not going to always do it full time. Kind of like I've had this like refresh with Thurman here on the channel and like doing the podcast and everything. So I guess the question for you guys is like, do you see yourselves doing the same type of content forever, or do you see like yourself branching out like to like say 5 years from now Lasher Luke is doing automotive YouTube, or Tyler Pancake is doing punk TikTok? So I mean, you kind of already done that, but
like
that's how you wound up on my fucking For You page, man.
I'll say it's no, I'm on someone's For You page for once. But I'll be completely honest. I don't see myself doing the same shit. Like, I want to start branching out. Like, I want to like start talking about. I want to be like able to start discussions. I want to be able. And I want to like maybe talk about The Boys, because that's one of my big things right now is The Boys. You know, season 3's coming out. You know, I'm getting really excited for it.
Oh yeah, and that's another one. Like with that platform in particular, like TikTok is such a versatile platform. As much as I despise it for its censorship, like something too revealing in media community guidelines violation. Like Emily, one of her like Monarch promo videos, like she was tweeting like because her VTuber cleavage was showing a little bit too far down, it got fucking removed. I got a platform that, but yeah, here's like teens flossing and barely anything on fucking the internet, that's perfectly fine. But here, like VTuber Booba, too powerful for that's a bizarre platform. Anyway, that's such a versatile platform to where like you can bounce around fairly easily and find yourself in like various pockets. Like I know my For You page is down bad. It's either like horny kink posting, punk talk, or like tech talk, and that's the 3 circles I've landed on there. That's my entire For You page. And then whereas like my YouTube algorithm for like if say Luke wanted to do automotive talk, and there's a reason why I'm using that as an example. Say that was it would never even remotely find its way onto my algorithm, because that is such a tightly typecast one filter thing, because I've been watching a lot of the goons best ofs at work, because like I can turn my brain off. It's just funny moments in the background and just work. That's my entire front page of YouTube now. For a while, the only way to get Shion to go to sleep was to play like bird movies, like 8-hour loops of like, I just hit this mic and it doesn't have a filter. I am sorry, audience. I talk with my hands for those that are watching the audio, or listening to the audio. I talk with my hands a lot. If you've never watched like one of the live action videos, and I'm doing the like very, very bad emote and I just hit my mic. But like that was the only way to get that. So my entire front page of YouTube was all bird videos. Yesterday, my fucking dad was going to change a light in his car. And this is why I'm using automotive YouTube. My entire front page of YouTube when I woke up this morning, because I'm the master account and he was too lazy to switch accounts to all of our phones because they're all on my plan. My entire front page of YouTube was how to change the fucking light, the dome light, in a 2018 Chevy Cobalt. I'm like, I fucking hate you. That was my entire front page. So now I am slowly retooling my algorithm. I got in the car to come home this morning, and I'm like, so you used my fucking YouTube account, didn't you?
I bet he was trying to make excuses.
He's like, oh, I must not have switched. I'm like, no, you didn't, because I logged back into YouTube.com like an hour ago to start my like nap time playlist so I could get up in time to play this. Or record this, and yeah, all my YouTube videos, like, let's go through the algorithm, Dad. Oh, Jesus Christ. Quite an interesting car ride home. The dome light works, though. That's great.
Oh, shit, dog barking.
Oh, so I guess I'll go with what you were saying, Vex. So, yeah. At the same time, I've always maintained this. Like, I don't want to make a career out of this. Like, I just do this. I do this because A, I want to, and B, it allows me just to be creative when I'm not acting, and I get to like perform in front of a camera. So it just helps to keep my sanity going. Now, do I see myself doing it in 5 years? Probably, but like I said, it'll just be a case of like, if something comes up that I need to stop, I will gladly stop. But I'll just keep going until I'll just keep going for as long as I still enjoy it. And yeah, I do want to branch out into other things, and I have started branching out into doing the live streams, like the weekly live streams, talking about the chapters with Party Jams, another of the regulars on Kontrolled Khaos, and we do really enjoy talking
That
about them.
Earthchild rant was probably one of the best pieces of content to come out of those fucking live streams.
Pardon?
That Earthchild rant from Party Jams was probably one of the best
Yes.
things to come out of that fucking live stream series, man.
Yeah, because Earthchild, oh my god, that series was just like, okay, one shot, where do we go from here? And it went completely downhill.
Oh god,
But-
yeah.
Yeah, so I do enjoy doing them, and obviously when the like this week when it's on break, we'll be talking about other things, like we're hoping, fingers crossed, to talk about the Sonic the Hedgehog movies, because we've been wanting to talk about them for a while. So yeah,
I still need
like
to see
I
the
said,
second one.
the second one I do like. I'm still debating whether I like it as much as the first one.
I've heard the same thing from a lot of people too. Like the initial one being like that, like they can make a good video game movie, and then this one being kind of like the safe, like samey kind of content.
Yeah, but yeah, like I said, I'm just gonna keep doing what I do. Whether people watch it or not, that's another story. I honestly just do it because I like to do it, and it keeps me going, keeps me sane when there's nothing going on in my life. And yeah, going back to what you were saying there about the rants, like, in my latest Mission Your Sakura Family chapter review, it was quite hard to get through the first five minutes, especially when we were talking about Tayu and Karicho, because somebody in the live stream mentioned Tayu x Karicho fanfiction, and I just couldn't get past the fact that Tayu was struggling with Karicho, and I was just like, oh, come on.
Oh god, like that fandom is mega horny. I cannot believe how quickly. No, Shion, let's not try and chew the mic cord. You've already done enough damage today. No, like I cannot believe how quickly freaking fanfiction came out of that fandom. And then I remember I'm a part of the Ruby fandom, and
Oh, Jesus fuck.
there is no safe character in that fucking fandom.
You've definitely proved.
Everybody has fucked everybody according to that fandom.
I will.
Rim have gotten involved. Jesus fuck the Ruby fandom.
Speaking of fandom, I will never forgive you for what you showed me at that one point on a stream involving Suika from Dr. Stone. I will never forgive you for that.
Literally 2 days after that character got aged up, there was hentai of that character.
I will never forgive you for that.
I literally was curious. I'm like, like this dude wrote freaking straight up hentai before. I bet there's somebody just as horny as, and yup. And believe it or not, it has gotten worse since then, because I've kept tabs on the Dr. Stone fandom.
Oh my god. Which is why when that chapter dropped and I had to do the review, I spent like a good 20 minutes shaming everyone who made Rule 34 of Suika.
In case any of the viewers here,
What's that?
Go ahead.
I said in case they can't see what I'm doing, but I'm doing the shame.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Like-
Sean, we're just going to take this down for a second so you don't break it. My cat has gone insane today.
But yeah, there are just some things you just don't do.
Oh yeah, I agree. Like I realize that the internet is specifically like Avenue Q said it best. The internet is for porn. If there's something that exists, there's going to be porn of it. That's Rule 34. But Jesus Christ, like there's got to be a limit to what a character can take, and I mean that quite literally and figuratively. Just
Agreed.
dialing back to the Grim X Ruby character fanfics. I've needed whole ass bottles of liquor after reading some things.
I hope you don't mind sharing that.
Like that fucking that fandom, and I'm saying this specifically because I'm in a community, a Ruby community server, and I saw one image that made me question if like the giant asteroid should just take out the Earth, involving the elephant Grim from, I believe it was the end of season 3.
Oh Jesus! Fuck!
And Ruby.
No!
And I'm like, maybe that giant asteroid should just hit Earth, and that should be the end of it. Hello, Ann Arbor.
Hello, Anarbor.
How are you guys doing?
Welcome to the Modcast. You're here now. Welcome to content.
Welcome, my friends. I hope you all enjoy the show, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
Oh God, he went full YouTube
And
mode.
also, we've got to mention today's sponsor is Raid Shadow Legends.
Use the QR on the screen to get your what's the talking points this month?
50,000 silver.
I haven't read the script for this month. Shit.
If you log in the next 24 hours, you'll get a shot of Vex's ass and the fucking profile picture.
Oh, Max is
Please form a nice orderly line back there so my security can deal with this. We're going to be taking your STD test.
I apologize.
No, that's good content. Shion, for the love of Christ, it's a fucking curtain, not a flashlight.
This video is sponsored by the new book written by Lasher Luke Perchek, How to Stop Your Cat from Messing About on Stream.
Oh, I'm glad this isn't a
$19.99.
live stream. Shion, do you want to go to the crate? Because that's where you're going if you don't knock it off. That's all I gotta do is say crate, and she stops. I don't want to walk 3 rooms away and then come back either, so she knows she's safe. She knows once I'm behind the computer and I'm talking into this black thing here, she's somewhat safe for the foreseeable future. But like that gives me a great idea. Like, what is the most fucked thing that you've ever found while creating content?
The most fun thing I've ever found creating content.
Because I have a very distinct one that didn't make it into the fucking compilation that you all horny motherfuckers sent.
Wait, what?
The most fucked thing that I've ever found while making content. It's gotta be when you told me about the Rule 34 of Suika, combined with what I saw in one episode of My Hero Academia involving Mineta and Eri.
Oh God. All you need to do is say Mineta and you're immediately excused.
Yeah. So at that point, he became one of my most hated characters before Gouge and Solid came up, and then today they finally got dethroned slightly by Lafia, or however you pronounce her name, from Eden Cyril, just for the simple reason of she is the most annoying person ever that I have ever seen, that I'm just like, just go away, nobody likes you.
Y'all remember this title right here?
Oh yeah.
No. Oh God! I read like the first 5 chapters of that.
So when I was editing that compilation up, just for reference, there's the best stuff from all from the moment we got affiliate status to like a few weeks ago of all the Twitch best funny moments kind of thing. I kind of wanted to relearn editing, setting back on like kind of doing solo content and on my own, and then this channel here, like the main channel, since Red will be focusing on the second channel mostly. I got
That's right.
kind of wanted to learn like some baseline editing because it's been so long since I actually did any. I'm by no means a good editor. I learned the basics in high school and I kind of just stuck with that. I want to improve a bit, but I remember that you all fuckers gave me this to read.
And we are proud to do that.
And I've just realised something.
And there was another one that you sent, Luke, where I'm going like, I feel like I should be on a watch list for some of these chapter titles.
Yes, and there is another one as well that is actually in that is actually a Jump Plus title that I've shown Anarbor, that the volumes are coming out by 7 Seas.
Oh Jesus, help us all.
2.5. This is the actual title of the series. 2.5 Dimensional Seduction.
To be fair, I've read all the 50 chapters of it. It's way harmless than this shit.
It is basically My Dress Up Darling, that series that everyone was going on about, but with erotic cosplay.
Lovely. I'm need to read that for research purposes. No, but like Valhalla Penis Mansion is the name of the series that I was referring to here for the listeners.
That was just good.
To the thing that Luke said, the cosplays in Dress Up Darling have way less clothes and way more skin than those in 2.5D.
Oh God.
But I was just going to say about this series, this Mansion series. Take a look at what the main character is called.
Oh God. Shota. Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah. So the premise of this is Shota Ilijima picked up erotic books during his child and suffers from severe foreign sister fetish.
Wait, can you say this on YouTube?
I don't give a fuck if it gets like age gated. This is a podcast. Thereafter, from the years between 12 to 15, he masturbated 999 times. For his 1000th round of masturbation, he had transferred to a different world, and Shota is sold as a slave, a paradise for women, and a hell for men. Valhalla. Yeah. I skimmed the first chapter, like, I can't read this on Twitch! This is just straight up fucking prawn!
And then he gets put into Record of Ragnarok because he's in Valhalla.
Yeah, just instead of slaying with one form of sword, he'd be slaying with another form. I'll see myself out for that.
So what would the Volant be? A condom?
Holy hell, though. There's Red. Jesus Christ! You get your heating on at your new place. How?
Forget how to speakerphone on Discord.
Also, did you enjoy your Taco Bell, you heathen?
Hey, don't be talking shit about Taco Bell, then.
Hey, everybody shut up. The real star's here. What's up?
Shut the fuck up, I already came.
I thought Shion was the star.
Who came? Someone came? Is that what I heard?
Anarbor came.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
First time?
The first time for everything.
What's up, guys? Oh my god.
We've been talking about the trials, tribulations of content creation, because originally we had Luke and Tyler here, and then Anarbor came in, and right at the time when we were talking about Valhalla Penis Mansion.
My dudes, my guys, when I tell you life's been wacky for me, so I just got off the phone with, I had to call, 3 separate places to get, certain bills transferred over. Boring adult shit. I'm finally about to move, and then once I move, I'm hoping to go full bore into content again. I'm sure David's told you guys about how we want to get back into the Chainsaw Man stuff, hardcore, skit making, yada yada. I miss it a lot, so yeah. Thanks for your patience, guys, seriously.
It's fine.
No worries.
Yeah, so I appreciate you guys sticking around too. You guys are real troopers. We've produced essentially nothing for half a year, so thank you guys, seriously.
And
Hey, it's what
Still better than most of YouTube right now.
Yeah, it is, and it's what the community, and it's what makes the community. We stick around, even if there's nothing happening.
That's base.
So Red, I sent you in the Brozone Earth 2 chat. Like, I was dying of laughter at work, and I feel like Jay Schlatt brought up a valid point in that fucking podcast. Like, when there's a lack of something, the desire for something to come is so much more valid, and when that thing comes, it's all that more rewarding for the viewer. So like, he took like a 2-year hiatus from streaming in general, came back, and immediately was rated by like 10,000 people on his first day back, and then took 2 months off. Kind of same thing, like it doubled, and like that retention will always be there. But the fact that
there's value to taking breaks for sure. Like, it produces when the triumphant return of the Controlled Khaos Chainsaw Man reviews will be legendary, I'm sure.
Oh god, the chaos squared, right? That's
that's the first. Much like in the tradition of how he came up with the fucking name Controlled Khaos, we just like bullshitted it out, and then like immediately with no second options, we were like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, well, Control Chaos was like the name of the shitty podcast that kind of birthed this, and then now it's just like.
I remember how he came up with the name for that. I was also in the car driving on the highway, probably driving back home from my shitty ex, and like.
You were driving back from Big Boy.
Really?
Yeah, you said you smelled like cheap pancake syrup at the call.
Yeah, that's true.
And then Chris V was like, Controlled Chaos sounds like a good name for a podcast. And then
one of you fuckers looked it up and saw that there was already like a shitty indie band by that name.
Yep,
We're like, who cares? They won't notice.
They won't notice. It's not like they have 3 EPs out. We got what, 5K subs? I'm waiting on that cease and desist any day now.
Yo, how we feeling about the final cover, volume cover of Fire Force, boys?
Well, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, you haven't?
I've seen it. It looks pretty. Despite not having read Fire Force, it looks pretty sick.
I mean, that guy's art. You've seen Soul Eater or read it, right?
No, I've not seen Soul Eater or read it.
Get on it. Yeah, that guy's work his art is like top tier. I love his art so much.
And Red, I'll get on Soul Eater when you get on Mission Yosakura Family.
Oh, you know what? That's fair. I thought you were gonna say Dr. Stone, bro.
Don't listen to him, Red. Don't do it.
Do it if you want. I honestly don't care.
Bow down to the Fem Cat Boy.
Yeah, he looks cute. I like him, but like, can he carry the whole series?
He basically does.
Here's the thing. He's a femcat boy that basically does the multiple femboy trick that Urahara does in Bleach.
Wait, what?
You know how in Bleach Urahara did like that trick where he made a duplicate of himself.
In the fight against Yami, the second fight.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, he does that, and also with Mission Yosakura, we have Illumi. We have an Illumi type character from Hunter x Hunter.
You do.
What way? Does he use needles, or is he like super manipulative?
He uses something similar to needles, and he also is very manipulative.
Interesting.
But he gets his comeuppance for being a manipulative prick half the time.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on Illumi to get his comeuppance.
Never will happen.
And he is not... Sorry, just to... Also, the main character has a stun gun that becomes a sword.
Oh, fun. That reminds me of... Has any of you read Kubo's work before Bleach? It was called Zombie Powder.
No.
Nope. Oh, none of you? David, have you read it?
I did. Fucking...
There's
years ago.
There's a character in that manga who has a camera tripod that turns into a weapon.
Oh God!
Now that that's happened, you have to iterate that in a skit at some point.
Yeah.
I unfortunately threw away the broken tripod, so I can't bash Red's head in it for not reading Dr. Stone.
Tragic.
And also, going back to the Chainsaw Man thing, yeah, they'll come back. The skits will come back in droves, especially when we get the infamous dog scene.
Oh God.
I'm so excited for part 2 of Chainsaw Man. I can't even fathom where it's gonna go.
The fact that we've already started pseudo-scripting a fucking skit for part 2.
Oh, we have a whole return of Hentai Devil skit like planned.
Yes, yes. I have no idea how you were able to do that without like just saying the name Hentai Devil.
It was hard.
really-
The downside is like that is just naturally me. I'm able to just like conform to cringe for the sake of content.
Oh, and I mean my editing is like that's my magnum opus right there. I feel like when you fucking flip
That's
out
your
of
one thing, like that you have outclassed me in every fucking regard. Red is like editing. You have that skill, and
I
you either
appreciate-
have
I mean,
that or you
look down
don't.
on yourself. The only reason I'm so good at it is because I literally took like 4 classes in a row on it in high school. Like, I mean, you can't expect to come in and just like.
I
and
had
just,
one
you know
my
what I mean?
senior year,
Yeah.
but then I grew up in
no, I mean-
bumfuck nowhere, so.
Yeah, what was I gonna say? No, I mean I'll give you a sneak peek. Essentially, I'm trying to think of the ideas we had. I know at one point David wants to emerge from like the muck, like a la trying to think. What was that? What's that fucking Power Rangers villain where she's like, I have returned?
Yeah, basically like a sort of Rita Repulsa moment, emerging from the swamp near here.
Yeah, we're gonna find a swamp, and David's gonna get in that bitch, a full hentai devil garb, and like emerge from the goop.
You're paying for my dry cleaning, by the way.
Hell no.
That will be
You
worth
put
it.
that shit in a normal ass washer. It'll be fine.
It's all made in like a Chinese sweatshop. Like,
I want to get basically it's gonna think like an MCU movie except our skits because I want to get my boy Andrew in, the guy that I review JoJo with occasionally. I want to get him in to be the capitalism devil, and he's gonna be like dressed as the Monopoly man with like devil horns, I think.
I would have thought you would have gone for I would have thought you would have gone with Ryusui cosplay from Dr. Stone for that.
No, full Monopoly man, and I tried to because I think we're gonna have like some meta. It's been a bit since I like pitched this idea, but we're gonna have some sort of like meta commentary on like how we lost the drive to do content for a while, and it was like why did we lose the drive? And then like the capitalism devil's gonna be there like capitalism, you know that's the joke because everything is capitalism. I have a lot of ideas. I'm very excited to see how it comes together.
So, if you need someone to show the people the Nazi devil, a drum guy, you can always call that.
Dude, the Nazi devil.
just like the black bar, like they did for fucking Muhammad on the Super Best Friends episode of fucking.
Dude, like fucking, I love the concept. The power system of Chainsaw Man lends itself so well to skits because, like, the idea that you can like consume a devil, or like the Chainsaw Man specifically, can consume a devil and then the concept just disappears. I mean, like that's so fucking funny to me.
My question for you guys, and this is a theory that I've had for a while, is because Denji at the end of Chainsaw Man basically became one with Makima, do you guys think that Makima will be sticking around as sort of like in Denji's subconscious?
That would be cool. I'd fuck with that for sure. Because
Red.
I mean, let's be honest. Let's think about this author. Okay, this author he physically does not know how to write a series without like a Dami Mommy character. Like that's like his whole thing.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
If he's writing a Dami Mommy, so I feel like he has to include her. What's up?
Understandable. Everyone likes the dummy mommy.
That's true. Yeah. I think the next. I want him to write a short queen now. I want to see like a short dom, you know, because that's even hotter to me is when they're short but also still like super dom.
You have one in your life, Red. It's okay.
She's not a dom though. We've discussed this. Allie's like self-admittedly a mega sub.
I tried to give you a one up here. Okay.
And also, Red, just one more thing I've got to say. Your magnum opus was not the hentai devil. It was when you went, God damn it, Kishi!
Wait, sorry, you cut off. What was
The
it?
goddamn it Kishi moment where like you nuzzle your fucking face in my book ass cheeks.
Oh, I'm glad you like that. Yeah, my
I
greatest.
like the part about running over old ladies.
Thank you.
I'm on
Thank
the
you.
team.
I'm glad someone liked that one.
Like, literally, we should just name our group chat Old People Hating Club.
No. You're missing the
I like
concept.
looking old people home. Fuck them. Fuck them.
Yeah, no, dude. That the concept of that, or the context of that one was the One Piece chapter where Big Mom got fucking slammed in the face with a motorcycle.
Oh yeah, I remember you had Justin and his motorcycle that I was going to buy for a bit for fucking. I was going to literally buy his motorcycle for a fucking bit.
Yeah, that would be a stupid idea. You do not have that much disposable income.
Especially right now, I do not have that much disposable income. Like post move, I'm still recovering. But no, like, I just want to read Red's Taco Bell order out here.
Oh yeah, please.
2 beef quesadillas, 2 cheesy gordito, 1 ranch fries, a large Baja Blast, which is the only thing you did right at Taco Bell, and no sauce packet? No sauce packet?
Just drench it down. I don't know.
The only way to not get a sauce packet from Taco Bell is to specifically request none. Otherwise, they just fist a bunch in there.
Give me none. Here's the thing, boys. The context that you're missing is that today was a hard-ass day at work. I was sweating, and I hadn't eaten anything all day, so I was like, I'm about to fucking go ham, all right?
Dude, I 100%.
David has no right to judge me. He's literally gone to Wendy's and unironically bought 50 nuggets before. Like 50.
And I ate those in a video.
Lucky bastard.
Well, that's the thing, right? He's actually not that fat. Like, it's only with nuggets. Any other meal, he eats like nothing. And I'm like, how are you alive right now? But nuggets is like his cocaine.
It used to actually be cocaine.
Yeah, cocaine used to be his cocaine, and now it's nuggets.
I think I traded up here, okay?
For legal reasons, that's a joke.
For legal reasons, I'm completely honest in that. I've been sober for 10 fucking years. I'm proud of that.
Yeah, but well, yeah. So the statute of limitations is gone. They can't arrest you anymore.
Exactly. I don't give a shit. Statute of limitation for any drug crime is like 3 years, I believe. Do not quote me on that, internet. Do not quote me on that.
Wright's mental note to have David fake do cocaine in a future skit.
Dude, I used to snort fucking pixie sticks for bits, okay?
Well, then we're gonna do that. Let's do it.
Grab me a whole ass Fun Dip pack and I'll fucking snort it like I'm back in middle school for content. I don't give a shit.
What are you now, like 32, 31? How old are you?
31 in like a week and a half, okay? I'm hitting the Jeff age in content. I don't give a shit.
I will always remember Fex's birthday because it is literally 5 months after mine.
I keep forgetting. That new name will. I'm never gonna remember that. I'm terrible. Get it legally changed, bitch. Then maybe I'll remember it.
Dude, it is a struggle right now to get into an actual courthouse still to even do that. Like, I've done 3/5 of all the shit that I need to do, but I actually need to go into a fucking courthouse and present my case to a judge. Like, yeah, I just need this to just conform with my gender identity and get a fucking paper signed, like, this is now legally your name, and circulate that in the papers. That is all I'm missing. But to go any fucking farther in this cocksucking state, I need to go in front of a judge.
My compromise is gonna be to call you Azazel.
Oh God. Oh God.
Remember Azazel? Does
Oh
everyone remember
God.
those days?
God. Those days.
Azazel's dead.
God, those days. For the first time
In
since
some
I've
ways,
had.
nothing is true.
You're not wrong. For the rest of this podcast, I actually literally have to plug in my headset.
Congratulations. Let's see. How's everyone doing, bro? Let's fan topics. Someone come up with a thing to talk about.
Okay, I've actually got something because it's just been released on Twitter. Because as you know, in case any of yous want to take, Sean and Jump have started doing like surveys on Manga Plus about what chapters people like during the week, as opposed to like the surveys in the magazine, and I've actually got the results.
Oh shit!
So I'm gonna put it in the chat.
The mod chat.
Yeah.
Okay. This will actually be interesting.
This would be really interesting to me if I read more than just One Piece.
Yeah, unfortunately, very hard to see on there. So...
I feel you're right.
Dude. Okay, so this is actually.
Good.
This is actually really interesting to me because, like, you know the like massive discourse of like Mid Clover, I know Mickey P.
Oh, wait, are you back to hating Black Clover now? When did this happen?
No. Like that's been the thing for the last like 5 or 6 chapters. Like people have been calling it like a Mickey Mouse series and shit like that.
Oh, dude, so it's I hear it's pulling a fairy tale is what I've heard.
Sort of, kind of. I wouldn't exactly go that, but Black Clover topped fucking One Piece, Red.
Well, hey man, whatevs. Like I'm over my Black Clover hating days. And just so you know how over my Black Clover hating days I am, when I heard all the fucking Mickey Mouse shit, I was like, knowing nothing, I was like, these people are probably over exaggerating.
Oh, they 100% were.
You know how many times in manga I've seen a moment where it looks like someone's gonna miraculously win, and then like 10 chapters later they get their shit fucked. Like, just give it a second, you guys. Jesus.
Oh yeah,
the enemy was literally Mickey Mouse.
Well,
All right, explain. Someone explain it to me. What happened?
I'll send you the meme.
Oh, you got it. You got it, Anarbor. I was about to pull it up.
Wait. Is the Mickey Mouse more like the time where they said, let's just change reality, that's what magic's for, or some shit?
No.
No.
I mean, that kind of a cool line, though. I fuck with that line.
So, Lucifero is like the actual like embodiment of devils we were led to believe for so long, and the fact that he got beat so easily, seemingly without any issues.
Okay. Because in Fairy Tail, I remember in Fairy Tail the big controversy was it was that blonde guy that was like had like dragon lightning or something, and I remember people were hyped about that fight.
So I can't send this picture. It has explicit content, as your bot say.
Here.
What? Get rid of that fucking bot.
Here. Let me just edit channel. There you go. Now try it. Mod stuff is now on NSFW chat.
How does it tell that it has explicit content?
And also, the image does it. And the image. Oh no! His nipples are out.
To be fair, the antagonist of Black Clover still hasn't done as much fucked up shit as Mickey Mouse in Kingdom Hearts did.
Right. Like, Mickey in Kingdom Hearts actually has his mouse nipples out. That one's fine. Mousiforo over there is perfectly fine. So just because he went down so easily without, like, any real repercussions is why people were considering it, like, a Mickey Mouse series. Because, like, you have the embodiment of the devil here, and he's beaten in, like, 5 chapters. That's some bullshit. But
technically, it was longer. I counted longer for the Lucifero fight.
Oh yeah, it was. But I'm just using Twitter buzz here instead of like the actual reality of the thing. Like I think it was like 15, 20 chapters, the whole Lucifero thing, because it was starting, I believe, when we stopped reviewing Black Clover.
When me and Party Chums were doing the streams, we were like making the joke for like the fight is still going on. Blimey, this fight is going on. When did this happen? Black Clover fights are not usually this long.
Right, like a fight of Black Clover is usually like 2-3 chapters and done. Like this one drug on for like a record of Ragnarok length. So it was refreshing to have a long drawn out fight, but Twitter will be Twitter. And any chance
I'll be back in like 2 minutes. I'm just going into the gas station to get some water.
Okay. And Twitter will take any chance they can to dunk on it, unfortunately. But what I find extremely fascinating right now is like Black Clover being in first place, One Piece in second, and JJK in third. What in the fuck is happening in Undead Unluck right now that is so popular?
I have no idea because me and like if you come in any of the streams, like me and Pyjams have been we had an absolute field day ranting about the last chapter of Undead Unluck.
It's the same bullshit that led me to drop the series. Because I have done the like catch up.
Because here's the thing, it was stated in the chapter that what was her face? Latia, the one that's the partner to Rip. It was stated like, oh, she has the power to see into the future with 100% accuracy, except for the time when her sister was going to die. So we were like, okay, when they say that, yeah, your power is not absolute. Stop beefing yourself up.
So, I have dropped the series 3 times, caught back up with it, and I still feel as nothing as I have since we stopped reviewing it. There has to be a...
What series are we talking about? I'm back.
Undead Unluck.
Undead Unluck.
There has to be a point where I stop torturing myself with it.
I need to take the time to continue it because like I just dropped it because David told me it was bad and I just took his word for it and I probably should have just actually kept going.
It gets worse from where we dropped it though.
How do you guys feel, the fans in here? Because David, his opinions tend to be very strong one or the other. How do you guys feel about it?
I am just like rolling my eyes at the moment. I'd just be like, we're talking about it because it's fun to see what Pyjams' reaction to each chapter is going to be each week. Especially when they were talking about like the Earth flying into the sun and call it revolution. He was like, that's not how revolution works.
I personally don't read it, so I don't have an opinion to weigh in.
Same, I dropped it after like 20 chapters.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's about where I dropped it too. I dropped it whenever we stopped reviewing it, so I think it was like 20 something.
Yeah. So I just to weigh in here, Red. Like I've picked it back up 2-3 times now, and every time it's just like I feel as nothing as when we stopped reviewing it. Like it's so polarizing. Either like I hate it or oh that was actually good. But the authors
because I really liked I've forgotten her name, but Fuko, I think, the girl.
Fuko's not been in the series for like the last 10 chapters.
God damn it! Are they turning her into a Sakura?
They've basically
I wouldn't go so far as like Sakura.
It's something along the lines of like Andy has sort of like turned into the Sakura going after Fuko, but yet he denies being in love with her, even though it's like, Andy, we know you're in love with her. Stop trying to BS us. And just to say before anything else, Kamatya has joined the party.
Hey.
Kamatya, sorry, I'm sorry.
Hey, you can't blame him, he's British, okay?
And no one likes the British.
I am the British devil.
the worst disability of all, being British.
No, the worst disability according to the British people is either the sarcasm devil or the limey devil.
Oh God.
So, as a fellow European, I can say we Europeans, we are hating. We have way more hate to France than to the British.
Damn.
How about Americans?
Yeah, no,
Nobody likes Americans. Even
we don't even.
Don't like Americans.
Okay, you got me there.
So here's something we can talk about. I, since the last time you guys have talked to me, have finished Attack on Titan. Who here has finished Attack on Titan? The manga.
I think everyone has.
I haven't, but
I don't. I've never
my dog's getting a little attention whore,
and I never touched it again.
Oh.
Yeah, so because like I had the pleasure of like basically binging. So back in 2020, I watched through season 1 and 2, and then stopped, and then never continued, and then basically I restarted it and binged the whole series in like 2 months. So I mean, fucking hell of a journey. Very good, but I agree that the ending is like very rushed and kind of weird.
Told ya.
I don't know. It's strange. It definitely did not end as strong. I think that the peak point of that series was Eren activating the rumbling, because when that shit was fucking crazy. Like the reveal that he was like able to use the Attack Titans like future sight thing that people have to like manipulate his father from the future. I mean, that shit was wild. Like, I love that, especially because like in chapter 1, when his father is talking about like the key to the cellar, he's very clearly not looking at him. He's like looking away, and then later it's revealed he was looking at like a future vision of his future son. Wacky shit. I loved that. I loved the rumbling. It was all cool. And then I get to the end of where the anime is at, and I'm like, all right, we just activated the rumbling. Shit's about to go crazy, and there's like 10 chapters left. That'd be like setting up the biggest, hugest, craziest war, and it's done. Yeah, like that shit was kind of stupid. It definitely felt like really rushed, kind of like the ending of Bleach. Yeah, and there's a lot of like moral problems with what's revealed about Eren at the end, and how he kind of like caused basically everything for no reason. It's very weird.
Eren
like,
was a Nazi.
Yeah, minus the last like 5 chapters, that series was incredible, but it definitely had a flop of an ending.
Rather than dying a hero, Eren lived long enough to see himself become the villain.
No.
Honestly,
Eren
I mean,
lived long enough to see himself become a burb.
When you kept making that bird joke, right? To the point where I thought, because David kept being like, "Oh, burb, that's how it ends." I'm like, what do you mean by that? And then as I kept watching it, I was so convinced that like literally they were all gonna turn into birds, because like one of the plot points in that show is that the founding Titan can alter the DNA of the Eldians. So like to the point where like they one of the Zeke's plan in that show was to make them all like infertile, like unable to have kids. So like towards the last couple of episodes, I was like, is Eren gonna be like, I turn you all into birds, because I guess birds equal freedom and shit? But no, like it's just a metaphorical thing. Like he had like a bird adjusts her scarf. I don't think that was meant to be taken literally.
Oh, I know. I'm just that was my way of like poking fun at how stupid the fans were, saying.
Yeah, but I because I had seen a bunch of memes of Eren as a bird, and I literally thought that was real. Like because I like before I got to the ending, I was like, does he really turn into a bird? Like, is that how that fucking series ends?
I mean, honestly, it couldn't have been worse than the actual ending. Like,
it was pretty bad. Yeah, I watched a video kind of like breaking down why it's so bad, and like, yeah, he essentially like goes against all of everything he stated to believe in. He goes against it, and if the part of me, like the more forgiving part of me, wants to say like that might be the point, because I mean, the author of that series has always written his series. He writes in a very like, there's no escaping it, the world's always gonna suck kind of way. You know what I mean? Like, so maybe the idea is like, oh yeah, Eren repeated the mistakes that he claimed to be against. I don't know. It could have been done a lot better.
So it's like, I've always compared.
This is the problem with like edgy like manga that I've just realized. Being edgy sucks.
It does.
Do you mean like edgy series, edgy character?
Just being edgy, being like a downer, being like beating yourself over.
I will become the god of the new world.
For a while, and I realized that at some point it's like, being emo fucking sucks.
Oh yeah, and like for no reason, again, like why the fuck did he tell I can't believe that the last time Eren, Armin, and Mikasa had a conversation, Eren was like, oh, Mikasa, you actually don't love me, you're actually just like genetically a slave, and and then it's revealed that was all bullshit. Like he was just fucking with her. Like why? It's so weird. Like I don't understand.
I think it was more on the lines of like he wanted them to hate him because he knew that because he knew that he was going to go ahead and do the rumbling, and he didn't want them to be like interfering with him.
I agree to an extent, but then at the end it's revealed that he kind of wanted them to come in and stop him. It's weird, man. The only issue, basically to me, it seems like the author wanted to kind of have his cake and eat it too, right? Mm-hmm. Like if you're gonna go through with a cool ass reveal, like, because that shit was hype when it was like, Mikasa, actually genetically you love me, it's not even real. I wish they would have kept that shit. I wish that was real, because like that was kind of cold and I loved it.
So they kind of like cycle into this.
Want to be hopeful? Did you want to be nihilistic? Because when you dip your hand in like nihilism, it's like it's just a downward spiral at that point.
I don't mind Dark series. You know, I just have to kind of jump back and forth between Dark series and not Dark series, so I don't get too depressed. But like, Attack on Titan did good at what it did, which like I enjoyed the Dark.
Like there's like I don't mind Dark series either, but they need to realize that there can only be so much until it's like comical or it's just kind of gets boring or lame.
Yeah.
There's a good video on escalation and de-escalation, and we talked about it in the Kingdom Hearts stream that David and I did briefly. But yeah, basically you have to kind of like lull your audience into a false sense of security every once in a while, like, oh, shit's getting good again, it's fine, and then haha, you know what I mean? So yeah, I agree.
Eden Zero can pull off that pretty well.
Which series? Eden Zero?
Yeah, he said. Yeah, they said Eden Zero.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard generally good. I've heard better things than Fairy Tail about that series.
I will.
More or less, like, if you're gonna dip your hand in like nihilistic series and dark series, just gotta have like a dash of hope, or like make things sure that like, despite all the bullshit, there's at least a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, that's fine. I get that. You know, because like my thing, and to me, it's objectively true. Okay, what would you guys say? Everyone here's read a little One Piece, right? Like most of it, at least up to the time skip.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like, what to you guys is like peak One Piece, right? Because to me, it's all the moments where shit's getting fucking real and dark. Like Robin about to get fucking like dragged off to Impel Down. Fucking like Ace dying. To me, one of the best moments that I just watched recently again, Subodi Archipelago, when the Straw Hats all get bopped out of existence by Kuma. At least that's how it seems to Luffy. Like these are all the best moments. And like in Subodi, One Piece took such a big mood change. Like all of a sudden they're talking about human slavery and fucking like Kami's about to get sold to, you know, this fucking just objectively evil man. And like I love that shit. Like I love mood changes, and I've talked to people before, including Luke, I think, that didn't like the Chimera Ant arc mood change in Hunter x Hunter, but I fucking loved it.
It wasn't that. It was. I feel like after watching the Chimera Ant arc, I feel like it was just. I was the reason why I'm not as hyped for it as other people is just because of the fact that I know the point of it, but like after a while, I was just like thinking like at the beginning of it, it's like, oh, this is a little too slow.
Well, as for me, it's like the best moments are when the characters are at an all-time low, but then the counterattack starts, and then things start to flip on its head.
Yeah, I will say.
That's fair, but I would argue that in order for that moment to happen, you have to have the all-time low. So like I agree with you, because like for a good example of what I was just talking about with what you were saying is when Luffy punches Charlos.
Yes.
The dragon. Like literally easily top 3 One Piece moments of all time right there. And like so I agree with you completely.
You need to it was like a hopeless situation. Like everything felt like everything was about to like it's over.
Yeah, and I will say. Go ahead.
Go ahead, let him finish real quick.
The moment he pardons Charlos was like, yeah, that's the counterattack. That's when like things start to look up. Like how in the latest arc of Wano, it's like ships seem to be destroyed, no one was coming, and then Kanjuro like Captain Momonosuke, and then all of a sudden everything just kind of like comes together in that just one moment.
Yeah. I'm still hoping in Wano specifically. I'm hoping for a bit more drama. Like, and I got a little taste of it with when that CP0 agent stepped in and like fucked up the fight for a second. Loved that. But like I'm on that Mr. Moore's dick riding campaign of like, please, I want the raid to fail. I know it seems stupid to people, but like I haven't felt the drama very much. Like it's there in little bits and pieces, but then it's so quickly back to. It seems so easy, this fight. I know it seems stupid with not the Kaido one, but like every other fight. I feel like King, Queen, they went down so quickly.
I think it's more or less just a term of perspective. It's like
yeah, you're probably right.
Reader, it seems like the fights go down quickly, but I used to be an anime watcher, and it's like I just had to wait like episodes and upon episodes to see them like get their ass beat.
Right, yeah. That's fair. I'm excited to see what's gonna happen with this next like chapter though, because I'm assuming y'all caught up. At least most of you are caught up in like this gigantic ass fist. I mean, like, so Kaido's probably gonna get hit by this, and genuinely, I don't think this is gonna take him down. I think it's gonna fuck him up, but I don't think this is the last attack. I really don't.
Oh hell no.
Yeah, I will say.
Watch the island drop on top of him.
Yeah, I will say, I feel like the drama from Wano will probably come from Luffy
Post Wano, like
post-Wano, like with particularly with Luffy sitting down with Otama and talking about Ace.
Oh, that could be cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm wondering about like, real quick. For me, what I'm thinking is, to me, this is shaping up to be a Thriller Bark-esque ending where like they beat the foe and then they're all tired as fuck, and then whoopsie daisy, here comes that last CP0 guy, or whoopsie daisy, look at all these world government ships out there. Who, for all we know, Green Bull could be like out there in the fucking in the world government ships. Who knows? You know what I mean? So that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah. What was good?
I think I've had enough of that kind of crap at the moment, because it's like, you know what? I think we need like a moment to take a break after all of that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I agree to an extent. I want there to be a moment. I just feel like I haven't felt a moment in a bit where it's like, how are the Straw Hats going to get out of this one, right? I haven't felt that in a bit, with the exception of very, very briefly with the Luffy, like, getting bopped, you know, at the end of that one chapter. But, like, with everybody else, like, I don't know. I guess I want there to be kind of, because, I mean, there's got to be an escape, right? Like, when they win, I feel like it's going to be like any... Go ahead.
I feel like it's probably Zunisha.
Oh yeah, that would make sense. Yeah.
Hey, Red, you're at the point where your audio's cutting out a little bit there.
Yeah, well, I'm driving deep into the country, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It looks like my signal's back decently now.
Yeah, I was just letting you know.
Also, a little bit of crazy theory I just thought of the other day.
Go ahead.
Remember when Shinobu aged up Momonosuke?
Right.
How, like, Tama wanted to go with Ace when she's older?
Oh, boy.
Oh, I think I get where you're going with this.
Yeah, so...
It would still be, but here's the issue there though. It would still be a fucking 6-year-old in mind. You know what I mean? I feel like that'd be strange to are you implying that they'd bring her along as like a Nakama?
Here's what I think they have to.
Small theory, but it's like I'm keeping it in the back of my head because I have no other evidence.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like, that's interesting for sure. I would just be, I feel like it would go against the kind of like, because one of the lessons of like Momo having that done to him was like, hey, this is kind of traumatic because I'm still a kid in my brain. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that. And what I want to say about the whole thing about Otama becoming a Nakama is that I've been saying from day one that she should become a Nakama because Luffy would want to fulfill Ace's promise to her, and also as well, all the women who have joined the Straw Hat, or all the females who have joined the Straw Hats, have worn the Straw Hat.
Right, people were talking about that. I remember when that happened.
And here's the thing: Otama could fill the role that Shanks and Buggy did on Roger's crew of being a pirate apprentice to Future King of the Pirates, and like how
girl.
Yeah, or like history repeating itself.
Maybe. I feel like having a literal child along would be just kind of weird.
Well, technically, Chopper's a child.
That's true, I guess. Yeah. But
that's still a kid.
Also, one of the reasons why I don't think the aging her up thing is going to happen is you have to think these are manga fans, and if they age her up, she's probably she would be like probably sexy, but still have the mind of like a 6-year-old, and that's just there's a lot of weird things there.
Oh
that
yeah,
I think Oda wouldn't want to go into.
My question for you guys is, I've had a theory for a while, and I want to know your guys' opinion on this, on like what the big secret of the world government is that they don't want to get out. So
I feel like there's a lot. Like it's probably a lot of secrets, but I suppose there's one main big one. Yeah.
here's my theory on it: is that the celestial dragons that we see today are not the descendants of the original celestial dragons.
Probably just more like. There might
Because
be
if
some
something
backstory,
like that,
but-
if something like that got out and they were just like regular rich people, people would be rioting.
I think it's even worse than that, to be honest with you, because like, I mean, we let rich people fucking act like that in society today, and you know, there's nothing special about them other than that they're rich, right? I feel like
really-
it's probably. What's up?
I wouldn't really like think that as big of a twist as actually I think. Like,
Yeah, no, I
him
think it's
is
probably
really the ruler, and the Grosei are definitely like his leads. Like the Grosei are definitely the ones definitely in charge, and might actually have something to do with the Void Edge Sentry and such. It's like they probably just have the Celestial Dragons there as like figureheads and targets for like abuse.
Yeah, that's a good point, right? Because if the people ever revolt, they'll take it out on these fat inbred idiots, and we can get away scot free, basically.
Yeah, they're just like a means to an end.
What was I gonna say? No, I do think that they actually are the descendants, because especially considering how Oda kind of like strikes me as one of those like we have to keep the bloodline pure, we have to like fuck our siblings type shit, which is something that happened in royalty for a long time.
Sweet
so like I
home
do actually think
Alabama.
exactly. I do think that they're probably, if anything, I think the secret probably has a lot more to do with what horrific
So
fucked up.
celestial dragons are Americans. If they're from Alabama. No wonder I hate them.
I think that the secret has a little bit more to do with some horrific fucked up thing they did to the initial D clan. You know, I've heard a lot of theories. I've even heard a theory that like devil fruits were literally made from the initial D clan, like somehow through some process, and like that, you know, like maybe the world government made them to begin with, and then they got out of hand. There's a whole lot of theories that it could be, but I just think that something happened. I even have heard that like the red line. Because obviously the red line, there's something artificial about the red line. There's a lot of shit, right? But like I think it has a lot more to do with like how they fucking destroyed this like clan, you know, because I'm trying to remember, it was like it used to just be like a bunch of different countries, right, that were just like ruling independently, and then the world government like brought them together. That's their like propaganda, right?
Yeah.
So I think it probably has something to do with like whatever means that they used to get to power was probably very fucked, and I also think that the red line, it has something to do with something that either they did or someone that worked with them did, in order to make it easier to reign with like absolute power. There's something to do with like that.
Propose an idea then.
Yeah, sure.
And they also probably like did some evil shit with the fucking fishmen.
Oh yeah.
More or less, like, as someone who likes to read history, a common thing that people like to do to seize power is to cast out a certain type of person and make them seen as the devil. Like they've done it in
yes.
Yeah.
World Wars. Basically, people have a common enemy to control their hate on.
Oh, you're so right, and that would be the D clan. That's where the D
Yes.
comes from.
I'll be right back, guys.
That's a great idea.
Oh.
Probably like
Yeah.
D clan was probably like some super powerful like clan that possibly I think they had magic maybe if they created the devil fruits. The world government or what the people that made before the world government actually saw that, thought to themselves, these guys are a little too powerful, or they want to seize power for themselves, but wanted to devise a way to like control it.
So in that way, if that was true, it'd be almost on some like Eldian shit from Attack on Titan, where like they had the ability to turn into Titans, so everyone feared them, and then deified or vilified them.
Oh goodness. Dude,
Right?
dude, 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 dude.
Hello.
Yeah, I got what you said there, Red. I don't know if others lost your signal there or what was going on, but you're spot on there. Like, I.
If you guys want to, you can start talking about shit. I don't want to hijack this podcast with One Piece because I actually am home anyway.
So like the big thing with that is like there always has to be something that somebody hates, and it's an unfortunate side of the humanity in everybody.
That's so true too. Yeah.
It doesn't matter how pure you want your society to be, there will always be somebody that's ostracized, and that's just our nature.
Is everyone still here? The other people or no?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And to add on to that too, because obviously the reveal has to be like, whatever this was, it was fucked up. I think to add on to that, it might even be that like it wasn't even just that they were powerful and making devil fruits, but like something that they were doing. They probably did a bunch of stuff to like help people. They were probably making like because the implication is that like I get the vibe that like technology in the One Piece world used to be way more advanced, and then like it kind of got like splintered and broken up, right? Like Vegapunk.
And then Vegapunk showed up.
Well, that's what I'm thinking, right? Vegapunk, they talk about how his knowledge is like, 500 years advanced or whatever. It's possible that he just has records of the Void Century, and that's why he's so smart. You know what I mean?
And like, why they keep him like cooped up and why they arrested him.
Yeah, exactly. Sus. Yeah. So like, I wonder. To me, part of the controversy might be that like we had the ability to cure all. Oh, God. Yeah. Actually,
Breaking up.
Yeah, you're breaking up.
Yeah, Red. Like I'm getting every like 3 words here.
Back says have to drop off then unless that's coming back in anyway.
There you go.
Going back
Well,
to
let me
the
just
other
try to-
thing, it's like the world government already has shown like they've already shown that they're willing to purge other races. It's like they purge a D-clan. It's already evident in the way they treat like the Lunarians. Like King is like a clear evidence that the world government has like ostracized races before or clans.
Yeah, and real quick, I'll just try to finish what I was saying. Let me know if I'm breaking up. Am I, or is it okay?
You're good right
You're
now.
okay.
You're better.
Okay, so basically, what I'm thinking is like they probably had such good technology to the point where like they were probably able to like cure most illnesses like back in the Void Century. Like I have a feeling that they had like all this great shit, and in order to gain power, or the world government like shit, you know what I mean? Because the reveal has to be something like, wow, you like fucked up everyone's quality of life just to gain power. You know what I mean?
And that would also like tie into why like the ancient weapons are so well hidden, why people like protect it, and with like with Frankie like having Pluton and like burning it. Like this ancient society probably had like.
Yeah, I agree. Anyway, I'm gonna drop off, guys, because I'm Oh yeah, for sure. I'm gonna drop off before my signal gets too bad, guys. It's been great talking to you. But yeah, enjoy. Go ahead, David. Switch the conversation to something other than One Piece, so you're not too bored.
Okay. I've literally just been here hitting my dab pen. Talk to you later, Red.
See you later, Red.
See you later.
I will say before we change something else this out, one of my favourite moments in all of One Piece goes back to when they're really low and then they get like an epiphany, is when Luffy's crying over the loss of Ace and Jinbei smacks him back to his senses and he thinks about his crew.
Yeah, I eventually am going to have to sit down once One Piece is all done and just have one massive binge.
Or when we get One Piece Kai.
No, please. I want to experience it for all it's worth and not drop it whole cake because life got crazy. But
it's crazy that the third act of Wano Act 3 is gonna, in 10 chapters, is gonna be the longest part in all of One Piece.
10 chapters, damn.
Yeah, it's nearly 100 chapters long, Wano Act 3.
Jesus.
Shit.
That's ridiculous when you think about like an entire arc being like 100 plus chapters.
One part of an arc.
Yeah, one part of one arc. That's insane. That's
It's
fucking
like Bleach
insane.
1000-Year Blood War arc being like 206 chapters.
God, please no. Like when you think about it, like that's going to be the end of that era. Like that is the last series really holding on to that mentality of like super long arcs too. So now once One Piece ends, like you're going to have that nothing of that style in print really.
Yeah.
So
Like for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, Tabata wanted Black Clover to be as long as One Piece, and yet now I think
he realizes like my health ain't good. I should finish my series. I don't want to be like Togashi. But like
The least you can do, like, if you want to expand your series, is go like a DC approach, like center around your world.
yeah, like perfect example is the Sandman universe. Like there's so much to do in the world of Black Clover. There's so much to do in the world of One Piece. Like you could have splintering series. Like, oh, this author can take on these 3 characters, and this author can take on these over here.
This already happened.
Kochi actually did that a little bit with like vigilantes.
Yeah, true.
And with One Piece, it already happened with the Ace novels.
Yeah,
which
with
were-
Koichi.
Yeah, the Ace novels, and then the Nisekoi author did like a one shot. I've seen a couple of those, like the Shingeki no Sanji series, Food Wars style. So
I
like
think it's only until recently that like One Piece has actually started to actively do that more.
yeah, and it's because it's so beloved. Like with the varying authors in Jump right now, like it's become like tradition in a way, which is really cool to see. But like once that ends, like it's just mind-boggling to me. Like we have finally started reaching the end of Old Jump. Like no matter what we say here, like Old Jump is dead after One Piece ends. Because you see now like a series that lasts maybe 300 chapters versus by the time One Piece ends, like 1,200, 1,300 chapters for that, or Black Clover may hit like 400, 500 by the time this final arc wraps up. We really don't know. But
Latest New Guard, like Undead Unlock and Mashal, have only hit 100, and it's like they're teetering on might be ending.
Right.
A few arcs.
The only series that I can say making it to the 300 mark would be something like Witch Watch or Mission Yosako Family.
I don't think Yo's fam will hit like that far.
I'm just saying it's like the maximum amount. Like I would say between 250 to 300 for Mission Yosakura.
I'd say more in the 250, but yeah, I mean it also is like an expansive universe, so to speak. Like you've seen multiple organizations in there. Like they could do a lot more with that stuff to kind of pad for time.
Plus, as well, we still need to find out about the aunts and uncles of the Yozakura siblings.
Yeah, we still need that. We still need to kind of dive into what Godiro's plan is here. We gotta dive into a bit more about the whole what led to this situation, because there's still like little bits and pieces of the backstory that's still kind of missing for the founding family members and shit. Outside of that, like it's a series that could end like very easily in like 100 chapters, which is a refreshing take when you think about like these more self-contained shorter stories have given a chance for more authors to kind of find their footing and flourish inside of the realm of manga.
Yeah.
So I kind of
Basically, so basically just go with like a DC and Marvel route and just create just a conjoined universe with the worlds they've just built for so long.
Yeah, like if somebody wanted to, if an author came in and said, hey, I want to do like about 9 chapters of Dr. Stone, more of Suika surviving in South America.
Like, I think like this is a little off topic, but I think they're like Western comics should adopt more like Eastern Eastern practices, and Japan should practice more Western practices with like their series.
I actually very much agree with that. Like there's so much that we can learn, universally for both sides of that. But the thing that I think that Western comics really, really do need to adopt from the Eastern side, like American comics have this annoying habit to reboot constantly when sales don't meet a certain figure. We have
I feel like they're just using the same damn shit.
it's that. It's like it's a little bit of that, but the biggest thing for me is like you have quite literally for like Marvel, you have 100 years of characters. You have 100 different iterations of the same comic, but at the same time, you take zero risks outside of creating a new imprint, right? So you saw it in Marvel with the Ultimates line, right? Where Miles Morales came from, and the Samuel L. Jackson, Nick Fury came from. And like so many of these ideas that we've pulled into like the modern comics. That was the only way they would take risks though. It was like, we'll do this. DC had Vertigo, where they were take more risks. Because if a shell company or a shell imprint folds, it's not seen as a loss to the main brand, right? So when Vertigo folded into DC proper, because we're like, well, these were all successful properties here, and then the rest of them can cease to fucking exist when we do Rebirth. Or I believe it was Rebirth that kind of sucked it in. I'm sure I'm going to get hella corrected in the comments for that. Apologies, my DC knowledge is not as great as it once was. Probably because I got fucking tired of restarting a series every 6 months. But
I think that's why I only preferred the cartoons or the movies.
Yeah, and
I like
DC.
more self-contained.
Yeah, and
Maybe that's why I'm more into indie comics.
And
Yeah,
that's
right.
the thing, like with Boom and Image and Dark Horse and those more indie lines. It feels weird calling Dark Horse indie, but at the end of the day, it kind of is because it's not as promoted as that. But like those kind of imprints kind of are more willing to take the risk and take the like creator focus at the forefront. Like fucking Saga was on hiatus from the time I graduated college till like 3 months ago. And they're just like, yeah, we're back. Let's get back to it. Shit's about to get fucky and everything's screwed. And they came back without missing a beat.
Like I'm currently trying to be like a creator myself. I write my own. I'm currently like outlining my own stories, creating my own worlds.
Making video games.
But the thing I want to like aim for is like making consistent like continuities or like references to like my various area worlds.
And that's such a hard thing to do, is like create a consistent story. And to think that like just to put it out there, like for 1,000 chapters, Luffy has been on one set path. And you have
The thing I had to embrace though in order to actually think of a series is you got to figure out how it's gonna end.
yeah.
That's something you need to really adopt. Your story needs an ending.
Mm-hmm. And see, you start with a start and an end point in mind. That's how I've always been taught how to write. Is like if you cannot picture this character creating journeys from point A to point B, then there's no point in creating this character. There's no point in creating this universe because there is no definitive end in sight. Therefore, it just becomes creep. And when you have something that becomes like creep, it turns into like in the video game sense, like a Balan Wonderworld scenario or a Cyberpunk 2077 scenario. Whereas in like a comic or a manga scenario, you turn it into something like a generic adventure of the week, or you turn into something like Earthchild, where like it should have been a one shot and done.
Yeah, but it's like Because one story ends, it doesn't mean another story won't appear from that same place.
Exactly.
Yeah, and here's what I've always had in mind is like, okay, have it. I'll just use the manga terms for example. Okay, so have like an early end point. So like, if this doesn't work out, you've at least got an ending. And hey, if it does work out, think about an ending that can be expanded from it.
And if the writer, like your company, actually wants you to expand upon your ending, you gotta delay your ending and somehow fill it with a hole.
Yeah, no, what I'm saying is like for example, the Promised Neverland team, they obviously had an early end point because they didn't know how it was going to bloom up in success. So what I think they should have done is like have the backup ending. So like they're like, okay, this is successful now. Now we can work towards this ending that we've got set up.
Yeah, you can tell they have planned for an early ending, like right there at the Gracefield arc, just in case it didn't take off. Like they had that set for like all the kids die kind of moment, or all yeah,
they set themselves up because they thought they were gonna fail.
Mm-hmm.
What they didn't expect was that they succeeded.
And then they had to play catch up for an entire arc of like, how are we going to pad this out? And then the anime fucked it all up.
Wait, there was an anime?
News to me, right? No.
Nick should be telling me that there was a season 2 that completely ruined the ending so that Isabella did not die and Emma didn't lose her memory.
My ex liked that ending.
What?
There's a reason why she's an ex.
Okay.
Think about that alternate universe.
Yeah, like AUs, expanded universes, like all of these things, like now being so heavily relevant in like pop culture, thanks to the success of like the MCU, and the middling success of the DCEU. Like there are so many different ways to tell a story now, and the fact that like so many authors set themselves up to like, this is the one way this is going to tell, and if it doesn't fucking work out right, still gonna stick to it.
This is why it's like Eastern comics should adopt Western practices, and Western should adopt like Eastern. It's like in the Eastern, it's all cutthroat. In the Western, it's like they usually do shorter series, and if it kicks off, they want great expanded versions.
Mm-hmm. Like
Eastern, it's like you either like pass or you get cut quick.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's something that I found out. It's like you talking about Eastern adopting Western practices. That's what the author of Golden Kennedy is doing. It's like he's coming back to reboot his older series that failed the first time, and I think a lot of authors should do that at some point. Like, for example, I would love to see like a redo of Time Paradox Ghostwriter, but like a different angle.
I want to see the actual story of like the Grimm like manga, or like Phantom Seer. It's like
Phantom Seer. It had the potential, but we don't know what happened with that series.
Lots of things can happen. Like, if they actually had a following, they could have actually started up a Patreon maybe.
Yeah, I don't know if that's I don't know if that's a common practice over there or not. That's one I'm kind of oblivious to. If there's anybody that can kind of weigh in on that in the comments, let us know. But like, there is a couple series I'd like to see kind of do a reboot like that. And Zombie Powder is one of them because it was like something that I never really, as somebody that loves Bleach, it's not something that I really kind of paid any attention to when it first came out, right? I'm like, well, it's ending, so why should I care? And then Bleach came out, I'm like, oh, this author can actually do good, that was kind of like that first experience with like, but in the back of my mind, I was like 11 when it happened, like, I don't know what's going on here, but, you can kind of tell, like, this series was getting, canceled. You know, because, you know, in the back of your head at that age, you kind of understand, like, when a cartoon's ending or something like that. But
It's like, it just sucks that sometimes it's like, when you want to see something more, it's like, the numbers don't meet the standard.
give me
The
more
numbers
Red
don't-
Sprite. Give me more Red Sprite. That's the one I really want to see, too. Red Sprite. I would love to see something continue with Phantom Seer, and obviously, like, that's the one that we'll probably never get. But there was a dragon manga. And Thurman sent it to me a few months ago. It was in, like, a mid-ending jump. I think it was called Dragon Drive.
This is a reality show. Wait, no, it's not. Okay.
Yeah, this one here. It was like 2005, 2006 manga. And it was stupid fun. It was by no means like great. But like for the age I was when it was coming out, it was super fun.
Still 14
Looks like
volumes.
something you'd see like in a Saturday morning cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
And also 14 volumes for a monthly series. That's nothing to sneeze at. That's pretty good.
It had 2 games.
Yeah.
Yes, it did really like pick off, and now it's forgotten in the
In
rest
an
of history.
anime by Studio Madhouse?
I guess it was 2001 it came out, like 2001 to 2006. So it did relatively well.
Yeah, that's not bad. I'd say that's.
That's Studio fucking Madhouse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Like Madhouse.
I think it's just. I don't think that's actually a good example.
No, that's not. It went on a lot longer than I remember it going on for. Like, holy shit, that's a lot longer than I remember it. But yeah, like that was one, and there was like a Wild West one around the same time of that kind of ran like intermittently, and it did not last at all. But again, it was like stupid fun. But this was also the time where like you would get here in America, like obviously, I don't think the magazine hasn't come out since like 2011 here, but it was still in that era of the paper magazine, like you would get at the checkout counter and everything. So like you would get a chapter a month of all the things versus, you know, weekly over there. So the only way to kind of stay up to date here was to buy the manga volumes. And I don't know how many of you remember like the massive like catch-up printings of like Naruto and Bleach that we had. But there was a period of time where like you were getting 4 or 5 volumes of Naruto and Bleach a month here in America, because we were so far behind.
Like, how far behind? Because I don't remember it, but how far behind was America?
I think physically, and I could be completely wrong here, so somebody in the comments can, you know, kind of do the math for me. But I think we were like 10 volumes behind in Naruto at one point. So we had just gotten to like the end of part 1 when they were doing the catch up.
Okay.
So it was like in preparation for Shippuden. It was like done, I believe, in promotion with like the anime. So like it was to prepare, you know, people to kind of, you know, get up to speed before the anime kind of came back. This is when Sasuke was drawing like the Disney XD logo as well. Because for some stupid fucking reason, Naruto was on Disney at this point.
It was a weird. It was a weird phase.
Excuse you?
Yeah.
It was a weird phase.
Yeah.
I thought Naruto was on Toonami.
Oh, he was. And then he was on Disney. Naruto... Disney... XD... promo. There we go. Here is a 2-minute and 10-second commercial for this first bit of Shippuden on Disney XD. Capture with Bandicam Pro unregistered because that was the era of YouTube.
Oh, wow.
Gotta love the old Bandicam watermark. Oh, that's how you know it was good content back in the day. I am making this and not registering a goddamn thing. I miss that era of YouTube. But
Yeah.
like that was a super fun time. And then the other one that I distinctly remember was like, do y'all remember when the Sci-Fi Network had anime on it?
What?
No.
The what?
No one remembers this. I am showing my age here. Okay.
You're showing
Yeah,
me to
keep
America.
in mind, I'm the youngest here. I probably don't remember Donkey Dick.
What the?
Okay, one moment. Sci-Fi Channel anime. Anime shown on Sci-Fi. Here is like the whole list of like what was on there. And this is how I found fucking Monster.
Oh, Monster. Will that series ever be released on DVD?
Never. Just sheer licensing will not allow it. And that's the unfortunate reality of licensing. Like it actually had one full release. And that was in fucking Australia.
Actually, it's not a full release. It's only the first 15 episodes.
No, that's the American version. We only got the first 15 here. Like, there's a full box set of every episode in Australia. Because one of my buddies ripped it and put it up in my Google Drive. It is every episode. I am talking about pirating anime.
Akira?
Yep. Yeah, Akira, Yusurai, Yasarta. I'm slaughtering that. This is how I found Toko.
They had a
Tactics.
State of Fury movie?
Uh-huh.
I want to watch that.
It's on Amazon Prime.
Oh,
All
shit.
right, yeah, I can see. I found it on eBay. Vex, the Monster Complete Collection.
North Star, Gurren Lagann.
That's how I got interested in Noeen. Now and then here and there. A lot of the classics. All of this is like on Retro Crush now, by the way. As well.
Mobile Suit Gundam 00?
Yep. That was like the first Gundam I watched from front to back, besides Gundam Wing as well. And that's just simply because it was on. And I happened to watch the Sci-Fi channel a lot when that program started. Because Warehouse 13 and a few other shows were on there. This was the era of like Defiance, which was
Did we get all the Street Fighter shit?
of course.
I'm gonna leave real quick.
Alrighty.
All right.
But like that era of anime there was kind of the introduced more of the sitting to me, and that's the reason I'm bringing that up is like everybody's been talking about like Trojan X and that Gachi Akuta, which is if I'm remembering correctly, that's the successors to Okubo's manga. And I just dove into like that manga's art style, right? Because the author's been tweeting a lot of it out on like Twitter and doing a lot of tweeting it out a lot on Twitter. You can reach we've reached like the 2-hour mark on this one. I and tweeting out a bunch of the art in there, and I just find it so fucking fascinating how detailed that art is. And then on the contrast, like Trojan X either has like Togashi dog ass style art or some of the most beautiful stuff you'd ever see. I think Trojan X would benefit a lot from an anime. You know? But I don't think Ishida wants to go through the trauma of adapting something to an anime again after how badly they hoed him on the Tokyo Ghoul anime. Y'all remember that era of like where like there was like a non-canon bit and then they drove it back into canon and then drove it back out.
I've heard the stories of Tokyo Ghoul.
I don't think he'll ever allow another one of his properties to be adapted to an anime.
I mean, it was a fun ride. It was a dumpster fire you enjoyed watching.
That's a fair point. Like, there's sometimes you just want to watch how bad something is. Like a hate watch kind of thing.
Yeah.
I never got hate watching. I never got it. Like, if you hate it, why are you watching it? Why the fuck are you wasting your time watching something you don't like?
Gives me the series still gives me something. It gives me hate.
I'll be real. Like, I loved the first few seasons of Game of Thrones. I hate watched the last couple.
Because it's fun, Tyler, to pick apart everything that's wrong.
It's not even so much that. It's more of the lines like, I witnessed this from the beginning. I want to see if it gets better or worse. You know? And also, like, for something like Game of Thrones, like, it was such an ingrained part of pop culture for so long that if you missed an episode of that, it was kind of like the Breaking Bad effect. Like, you feel like you were missing out on a part of reality.
I think it's just
okay. No, that makes sense. And
how
like,
worse the show can get.
If you're just like if you're like me and you're like a fucking masochist and you gotta like see something through to the end.
That's the only reason I finished Promised Neverland, by the way.
I didn't even do that.
But yeah, like it's the wanting to see something through to its completion, in hopes that it's kind of going to get better. And then by the last couple episodes, you're like, oh, this isn't going to get any better. Oh, God, how did this get worse? How did they... Why? Why is Bran the Unbroken over there in the fucking Iron Throne? It makes no sense. But, like, Game of Thrones, everyone. I just spoiled 10 plus years of content for you. The wheelchair kid gets the Iron Throne, and you just question reality while you drink in the shower. But, like, it's also, like, satisfying to see that production aspect of things. Because you know, regardless of the state of the product itself, you realize that there's a lot of love and care and blood and sweat and tears put into something. And I think I became more attuned to that. Even as dog shit as some of the shit that we've put together as creators are, being a creator myself, you know, I put a lot more like respect on the fact that like this person has spent probably 6 nights of crunch making this one panel of animation here that's going to be displayed for 2 seconds versus they could have done better with a series aspect that I used to have before setting foot into like the content creation or having any input in a production whatsoever. Like, even back in my drama days, I didn't give a shit, you know, but having more attached to the front end of everything, like, this has to be good, this has to look right, even if what we're creating on the screen is horrible, and like you look back at it and like, did I really say that 6 years ago? You know, did I really just compare my dick to a giant rocket? Just throwing dumb shit out there that never has been compared because I'm not Jeff Bezos. That kind of thing, I kind of, feel more attached to that kind of direction for a show or anime now. Whereas there are people that legitimately sit down and watch shows that they hate just to say that they watched it, and I don't get that side of it whatsoever either.
Yeah, I really don't get that side of it.
Like, my dad is huge into sci-fi, and that's why I'm, like, really into it. But he's really big into Star Trek, right? And he is not a fan of the new one, Discovery, but he's a fan of Picard because he grew up with, like, Picard and Captain Kirk and all that. So he's more attached to that side of it. He despises, like, the newer shit. Like, anything from, like, Voyager on, he's not a fan of. But he'll sit down and he will watch every fucking series of Star Trek, regardless of if he enjoys it or not. And I just could not sit and devote 6 months of my life to watching something that I absolutely despise. I'll never understand that. I think that's why I'm like, I have to have a moment of like, am I even going to bother picking Undead Unlock back up after dropping it again after this recent chapter? Because there's a point where like it's utterly like almost a form of torture for myself at times. Like, why am I doing this? Why am I reviewing this? Why am I even attempting to be like, can I make content out of this or can I do anything with that?
Yeah, it was basically the reason why me and Pyjams dropped Blue Box, because we didn't enjoy like talking about it.
Yeah, like the couple chapters that I read on stream, Blue Box, right? But like, it's wholesome. It has a point, but it's also a sports manga, and I couldn't be arsed to read a fucking sports manga.
Yeah, it kind of glosses over the sports aspect, and like the romance is too predictable.
Yeah, it all seemed like super cliche. Boy meets girl, girl shy, boy really also very aloof with his feelings, but knows that he likes the girl. It's like reading a shitty teen novel.
Yeah, it's like after reading We Never Learn, I need some more sophistication in my romance manga. This is why I like Witch Watch, because it focuses more on the comedy aspect, which I am looking forward now to the love triangle between Nemu, Wolf, and Keigo in Witch Watch. Slight spoiler for you, Fex, but Nemu is simping for the same guy's different personalities.
Oh god, yeah. It really is that too, you know. But you also gotta sit down and think. Like, there are definitely, and this is the thing that I've had this conversation with Thurman, because there was a time when we were too hypercritical of everything, and I just kind of had to cycle back to this, and this was more recently because of like the Massiverse content. I had to sit back to myself and think, like, am I being too hypercritical of something? And then I saw like the same attitude from Thurman, especially in like the last couple manga reviews that we did too. Like, we were cycling back to that toxic side, when you get to the point where like I'm thoroughly not enjoying reading or watching or consuming this content, to the point where I am picking apart every single bit. But also I realize that there is an audience for this type of content, right? Just because I'm not enjoying it does not mean that person B, C, or D is not enjoying it. And when you've repeated the same 5 points over and over and over again over the last like 5 or 6 videos, you realize, maybe I should stop talking about this thing that is aggravating me to no further point than this series is bad and it shouldn't exist because I think it's bad.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the mindset behind dropping like Undead Unluck, behind dropping My Hero Academia, behind dropping like all of the like Promised Neverland reviews and stuff like that. I could never, as much as I enjoy Witch Watch, I could never sit down and review Witch Watch.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's one of those series where it's hard to review. I mean, we have the running joke of like give whenever there's like those chapters with the manga student and teacher, give the translator a pay rise.
Oh, 100%. Like that, the 100 Girlfriends author, Madaka Box's editors, like all of those people that have to typecast all of that shit deserve like the utmost respect, because I don't know, and like the fucking chairman election arc of fucking Hunter x Hunter, like those there were so wordy. Like if that editor and typecaster didn't unalive themselves, they need like all of the sucky suck and all of the raises, because I could not fucking do that. There's no way.
Oh yeah, definitely. I could never do anything like that myself.
That screenshot that you shared in the Anime Manga General, like I was going through like all the shit in the like replies and the quote retweets. I'm like, Jesus Christ, there are a lot more series with just like nothing but words on the pages than I even realized. And then there's shit like Vagabond, where like it's fight, 3 words, fight. Because I just started reading that at work, just to kind of pass the time. And I'm like, this is so fucking beautiful. Like the art in Vagabond is some of the most beautiful art. And all
oh
manga.
yeah, I'm not gonna deny that. That is really gorgeous art.
But there's like zero translation needed, really.
Yeah, I think I've got like the first like Fizzbig of Vagabond somewhere.
And those are hard to come by now, I found out.
Yeah. But
Bizbigs in general are getting hard to come by because they're such a pain in the ass to print. And they seem to be like super doing away with that format. And it's the same thing like Tyler's The Boys omnibuses and like the Invincible ones. Like they're slowly doing away with like those types of prints. Because they're such a pain in the ass to print and keep the spine intact. That's why I own all 3 of the Hellsing, like giant volumes the size of the Berserk ones. I have not taken the plastic wrap off of them. I'm like, you are my shrine right now, and that will never change, because I realize that if I ever need to sell you for rent money because I'm a broke bitch, I know that I can flip you on eBay.
But yeah, circling back to what you were saying before about becoming disingenuous with series, it's why I've like slowly started weaving out of Spy Family.
Mm-hmm.
Like
yeah.
I have literally just skimmed through the last few chapters and thought like, oh my. I mean, it's still gonna get bigger. Like it's like 17 million in circulation at the moment, but people are just gonna be like, "Oh, it's still here."
Yeah.
Some things are. It's like at some points, like the series can get like that. Like, I've actually been in like the recent readings I've had with like most of the series on Shonen Jump. It's like I've just been skimming through them.
Mm-hmm. And the less and less manga content I've been doing is like. I've gotten to the point where like you get so hypercritical of things, like just sitting down and enjoying manga is like a nice refreshing feeling, instead of like, well, what about the here on page 5 and versus like here on page 10 and like 3 chapters ago when the character did that. It's gotten to the point where like I miss enjoying manga. So I've kind of like gotta get in that mindset of like, this is not just solely content. This is a hobby. This is something you enjoy. This is something that you love. This is something you sank thousands of dollars and hours and like countless years of your life doing. You need to be able to enjoy it. So I've gotten past like the just skimming and being hypercritical and actually sitting down and like reading like certain series again. Like now with Vagabond, there's not so much reading with that. And then because I don't cover it, like Witch Watch, I've been slowly sitting back down and binging that. Because like that's one that obviously like there's no way I would be able to sit down and formulate content on it, so that's one that I can sit down and enjoy. But stuff like Black Clover, like because it's my mind's still in like monkey content brain, it's like skim. Oh, that's a nice panel. Skim. Oh, so that's the one thing we'll talk about, right? We're not doing manga content right now.
Yeah, I can get that. It can sometimes feel like I'm skimming through, and I've contemplated whether or not I'm like burnt out on manga.
I think the healthiest idea for me that I've come to is like after Chainsaw Man Part 2 kind of ends, like semi-retiring from doing manga content, like personally, and just hopping on that second channel with Red and Thurman, you know, like when there's something that interests me versus like sitting down every week and being like, well, this chapter, that's kind of like the idea that's been like in the back of my brain for like the last 2 or 3 months. I just haven't like decided if I'm going to do that or like sit down and, you know, see if I can post Chainsaw Man Part 2, see if I can like kind of get back into that kind of mode. Whereas like it's more freeing to be able to bounce from like video games to like comics to random bullshit to like the evolution of the entire genre of things versus sitting down and doing like weekly reviews.
Oh, I think it's more or less at that point, it's like either very enthusiastic that you can keep going, or it's like if you feel burnt out, just take a break from a couple of chapters and just binge it.
Yeah. And that's kind of like what about the Twitch side of things is so like freeing is I can sit down and I can just binge things I'd never binge normally, like Oni-chan is done for, Don to Don, or fucking Devilman, which I had never read. Going back through and like the amount of dumb jokes I made about Demon Booba and Demon Puss and everything, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. But like when the demon is shooting out of those areas, like it's obviously where the brain's gonna go for the funny bits.
Yeah.
That manga was a fucking
we all
trip.
still remember the clip bullet.
That will be my legacy on the internet is Clip Bullet and Come Wall. I've resigned myself to that fact.
No, the other thing that will be your legacy
and Hentai
is...
Devil.
Yes!
The Hentai Devil, Clip Bullet, and Come Wall are my 3 marks on the internet forever.
You know, if Red ever gets into politics, people are going to be finding that clip of the Hentai Devil and be like, he's advocating for this filth.
And he'll be like, yes, I am. And you should read some too.
But then you have the Karens being like, oh no.
Not in my Christian neighborhood. Honey, you drank 6 wine coolers and showed your tits to the bus driver. Okay. Chill.
To be fair, the wine was good.
See, it's the, like off the cuff bits of content that's so much fun, like that kind of stuff. But like you being in this space for so long has given me a new perspective for like the community, and just this is me trying to wrap this up because it's like 2.5 hours long. It's going to take 17 hours to export. Because that's the thing. Like for the community aspect of things, getting you guys like more super involved in like content and being here as like moderators and doing all the fun things with that side of thing, if you're open to that in the future, I think the biggest and this was like my massive test for like if you guys would work in the content set, and you all passed, so congratulations.
Woo!
I honestly had two thoughts in the back of my mind. Like, I'm either going to scrap this recording or this is going to be one of the best podcasts we've done in a while. And it definitely was one of the best ones we've done in a while. But, like, the one thing that I absolutely adore about having such a open-minded and loving community that we have here, all the drama over the past couple weeks aside, I think, like, the one thing that I've learned is that you always have to have in the back of your mind that the center of the universe is not you. And just because we're the monkeys making things funny for you guys, we're not the center of this community. You know? It's really, like, the center of the community is the community itself. And our job as the creators that kind of puppeteer everything is to kind of maintain and source this kind of sphere here. And it falls also on the moderator's shoulders, and that's the part of content creation community that a lot of people don't understand is, like, no one sees more bullshit than you guys. Because we're obviously, like, myself, Thurman, Red, we're not always online, you know? But you guys being in here and the server and the comment section and being such a part of, like, the timeline for this community have seen shit that we probably haven't even seen. Be it either in the comments before they get filtered by YouTube's horrible algorithm for, like, this word should be in your filtered comments because it's the gamer word. Y'all know what word I'm talking about. And the fact that I still see that in the comments in the year of our Lord 2022 is baffling. Or, you know, you see, like, the spiralings of, like, members going down a bad path. You see the part of, like, the arguing and the infighting in the server. The obviously, like, the bullshit that caused us to have to create a rules channel. And that one fell mostly on me because I was an old acquaintance of mine that caused that whole shit show.
Yeah.
But, like, you guys see the bulk of all the bullshit, and I don't think that that's appreciated enough. And this is my chance to say thank you for putting up with all the idiocy that comes with being a part of both the front and back end of a community like this. Because, holy shit, I don't think I could, in my current state, I don't think I could do what you guys do. Even though, like, in the past, like, that was how this group was kind of formed. I don't think I could ever go back and do that shit again. Like, be an admin or be a mod for somebody else. Like, that is a mentally taxing task that I think is one of the most underappreciated aspects of being involved in this entire sphere. You can
think, like, what really, like, helps out, though, is, like, no one really talks much, and if they do, it's, like, it's very toned down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, like, we have one of the most chill sides of the YouTube sphere. Not to toot our own horn there, but, like, could you imagine, say, you were a moderator for fucking, let's say, Achievement Hunter, or let's say just let's go over with one of the more, like, relevant ones, like a moderator for fucking Dream. Could you imagine the chaos and the hell of something like that?
Oh, I'd probably just be like, I'm out here.
Like, that's a full-time job. Like, they better be paid to do that.
I don't think they are. I could be completely wrong in that, but, like, just having been a part of the Rooster Teeth community for as long as I have been, and seeing what a shit show that community can be at times, you cannot pay me enough to be a moderator for that channel. You can, like, here is Elon Musk's entire wealth, and that still is not enough. In Dream, I would rather eat my shotgun than that. Like, No
You have
joke.
a shotgun?
Yes. I live in Michigan.
American
Fair
thing.
enough, but
I also live like 5 minutes from the woods, so like the fact that I can go into my fucking backyard here and there be a bear. So yes.
Wow.
Like one side of me is woods, the other side is swampland. I'm not in the greatest place here.
yeah, it could be worse.
It definitely could be. Like I could be either in Florida or Texas, and both of those I would need something a little more firepower than a 12 gauge.
I'm in Florida.
Oh, I'm sorry, Kama.
Anyway, all I really got from Florida was like 6 months worth of depression, possibly more.
Yeah, sounds about right. You got one of the worst governors in the entire country, and you also have the eternal meme of just living in Florida.
I'm probably gonna be like leaving Florida in at least like a couple of months from now. Like, I'm actually in like the last legs of my college if things go right.
That's nice. That's always a great accomplishment too. Like being done with that. The only thing that comes now is the lifetime of student loans. Daddy
It ain't
Biden,
really
any day
bad
now.
for most people, I have a lot of benefits like and scholarships backing me. So it did a lot.
That does help a lot. Like more than most people actually realize. Like one scholarship, it could be like a class or it could be an entire semester. I have my like second to last semester like fully paid scholarship wise, and then I told my professor to lick my taint and drop that class, so that caused me to incur a little bit more debt than I wanted to wanted to have. But like it was one of those professors like this is a $12,000 class and he just threw a fucking packet in front of you. Like you do not learn that way, especially in a networking class. I am paying you to teach me how to run the specific programming language to run these routers, not throw like half of a textbook at me every week.
It does be like that. Like I do not work well in like virtual environments unless I actually have like people talking to me directly.
This was like super pre-COVID and all in person, and that was their teaching style.
I had college when I started college when COVID hit.
Oh Jesus!
I
So-
started college after.
So you both had the fun like mostly virtual classes.
Like
Yep, and
I
they
was
made me
really
want to
just laid
die.
off my job, and it's like I actually was looking forward to college since it's like my job laid me off and gave me a ton of college benefits. It's like I was looking for. It made me like set for my like new life, and then all of a sudden COVID hits,
Yeah.
and let's just say that really like made me lose a lot of morale.
Yeah, it does, and like I think that was a lot of people's experience, like with COVID and everything, like getting thrust right back into the student life, and like, oh, we're not going into the dorms that I've pre-ordered. I get vouchers for when we return. Oh, we're not returning at all for the semester, so I get refunded.
Like get stuck in the dorm you paid for, and like you don't even get to do the classes, and then you get depression that doesn't even allow you to do school for months on end.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit real here
I mean,
at the
I'm
end.
lucky I'm just start off with community, but
Like, community, like, that's probably the best way to get a lot of your bullshit out. Like, as somebody that went through like the gamut of like trade school to like actual college to like, all that shit, that if
I
you
took
can
like clep tests.
like, the if I could go back now and redo how I did my education, I would go like community college for all my basic classes, like my English, my math, my bullshit like that. Get all that out of the way for cheap, and go to the college I finished my degree with, instead of like going to a trade school that's going to fold. And well, Anarbor saw my tweet. here's sub $100 settlement from the class action lawsuit. Thanks for buying my alcohol for the week. God, I hate that was my path, but to me, like, going back to college was also a way to like stay on my parents' insurance for a little bit longer, because in America, like, you got to have the insurance to kind of survive. I'm like, well, I can go back to college, stay on it for another couple years while I'm job hunting in a city that doesn't really have any jobs at the moment. Then I just stayed in college and kind of milked that for a bit longer than I should have, and got work study there for my first like actual IT job. Setting up all the labs at that school where Red and I met. That was fun times, and ended up with a lot of their tech in my fucking apartment because they folded while I was in the middle of all that. Anybody needs servers for dirt cheap? Don't mind the asset check for a defunct college.
I can make it myself. Don't worry.
Do you know how to give me like a Perforce server I can use?
Jesus. Like, I don't even know how up to spec these would be anymore. I've kind of fallen out of that universe. But I'll see how much of it's still at my parents' old place and how much of it made it to the e-waste. Because
Yes, it's like I've had like some experience with IT before, mainly due to my previous job. Mostly it's like, since I'm game design now, I like need some like, let's just say, source control servers for me to like apply some data and share it with other people I'm working with.
yeah. And there's actually a couple of websites that allow you to kind of emulate that, but like for functionality, like you gotta have to like build your own, or like, I mean, you could even use like a Pi for something. But this got real nerdy now.
I have limited resources, and it's like I tried to use like some stuff, but it's like
I know there's a, at least there was, who knows if it's still out there. There was a source for a Raspberry Pi server base for like deployment and patching and shit like that for apps for a while that I used in college. But again, that was like infancy of the channel, so I don't know if that's still like actually accurate knowledge or just lots of fucking test time. I know the Magic Mirror program I used no longer exists. It's sourced by somebody else now. That was going to build me a new Magic Mirror for the place here, and yeah, I couldn't find the old one. But yeah, like this has been fun. We really need to wrap this up. So
Yeah.
I like. Do I have time still to kind of film the video with Thurman tonight, or should I put that off till the weekend? But like, I would like to do like a modcast like once a month, maybe, as like a supplemental thing, to where we can kind of
Yeah,
touch base
and-
on all the things.
And I apologize that I haven't been talking much. My dog has been a massive attention whore.
Yeah, like the entire time that Red was talking One Piece, I was babysitting my cat, and now that she knows it's wrapping up, she's over here twitching her ears over on the bed. Like a devious little shit. Like, I won. The video's almost over. But no, like, that would be a fun little... All hail Shion. She is our overlord.
She is the true main character of everything.
Oh, hell,
Nami is better.
being a little fuck nugget.
Yeah, but like, so we'll kind of do that like on a probably like Saturday or Sunday moving forward because of my new schedule. Whatever kind of works as like a supplemental touch base, as like a community update, as like a we're all friends here, you know, kind of thing. And then obviously like I talked a bit about the project for Tyler and myself and Thurman, the one for Luke and us, and then Kamatya, if you want to link your Game Jam game in the mod chat, I'll link it in the description of this as well.
Okay, just give me a second.
But yeah, like,
Oh yeah, Kama, you should totally stop by my server. One of our head mods is a game designer.
Can you give me a link?
All right.
networking live on the podcast. But thanks for tuning in, everyone. I'm going to kill my DaVinci Resolve right now, editing all this. So peace.
Peace. Bye, bitches.
Peace.